Shalom, Israel, Shalom, Shalom, Brother Naquam.
Shalom, shalom, brother. Right.
Coming back at you with these precepts and another Monday Night Fire. Giving, of course, our honor and our glory to Yahweh. Bahashima Mashiach Malak Yahushai. Double honors to the elect elders of the house of David that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting for the second coming of Mashiach Malak Yahushai. A hearty, mighty Shalom to all of the mighty men of the Most High God who are out there in the highways and byways, pushing this truth, magnifying the ministry, presenting their body as a living sacrifice, and enduring all things for the elect's sake. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there on the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying, they're fasting, they're studying, they're being diligent and abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, shalom. And shalom to the Akwath out there, the sincere sisters out there, holding it down in the households, married and unmarried, Salakia, the children, the ancient men, and the elect of our nation scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. Kwam Yashala, Shalom.
Shalom, 12 tribes of Israel, reading, praying, fasting, being diligent in the last days. Most are willing, fighting the good fight of faith, staying rooted and grounded in His truth, standing 10 toes down for the name of the Lord, man. You got it, Ken.
God. And we got a topic: escape of the wilderness, fighting temptation, and defeating Satan. Right? Escaping the wilderness, fighting temptation, and defeating Satan. Right? Now, this wilderness that we're talking about is not speaking about the second wilderness to come. This is the wilderness that we're living in. Right? This is a modern day wilderness that we're living in through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmi Yahushai, man. Right? And we're being tried the same way our forefathers are being tried, and we're being tried the same way Yahushua was tried, man. Right? So you're in the wilderness right now, but this is not, just so Jake don't get simple. This is not the what we call the second wilderness. This is a spiritual wilderness that you're dwelling in now, that the Most High put you in as He called you out the world. Right? Let me get this in the book of Jude. Right? And in this wilderness, you're going to be dealing with all the types of temptation. Right? From the world, from your job, from individuals, from loved ones, right? From old friends, right? From the flesh, from thoughts and things that you struggled with in time past that may arise and try to seduce you and tempt you. The same thing that happened to our forefathers, we expect these things to happen to us. Let me get this verse in Romans, right? Chapter 15 and verse 4. This is the book of Romans, chapter 15 and 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So everything written of old is literally for this moment right now. Things that have been written from the time of Moses, well over 4,000 years ago, all the way up to the epistles written by the apostles, all of these things pertaining to us to this day, man. And we have to go into these scriptures and read these accounts and examine our life and see if our life is a reflection of what our forefathers have done, whether our forefathers were evil or rather they were righteous, right? So you look at your life and say, hey, look, this brother and the scriptures was off. Korah was off. This man was off. This man was off. You look at our forefathers on the right hand side. You look at David, Hezekiah, right? You look at Josiah. You look at Abraham and Isaac, and you look at these men and Jacob and say, hey, these men were righteous. And you look at your life and say, well, am I doing what these men did on the right hand side? Or as I read and learn these scriptures, am I doing what these men did on the left hand side? Because some are going to get the reward to everlasting life, and some men are going to get destroyed, man, when the Lord returns. Right? But you got it, Ken.
And temptation is not something that just people in the world deal with, man. People in the truth deal with temptation daily, weekly, monthly, every day, on the hour, on a second, man. You're met with a temptation, a spirit, right? A trial. So you have to know how to handle these things, man. And these accounts definitely help through the spirit, because you see what our forefathers fell from, and you see how they got out of these temptations through the spirit of the Most High. It's the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 18 and verse 11. And Joab said unto the man that told him, and behold, thou sawest him, why didst thou not smite him there to the ground? And I would have given thee 10 shekels of silver and a girdle. So Joab's bribing this man. Why didn't you smite him? I would have gave you 10 shekels, right? And I would have gave you a girdle. And Satan will present certain opportunities to you. It could be a job, raise, right? It could be another wife, right? It could be a car or whatever the case may be. He'll make it sound so sweet, man. Why didn't you do this? And I would have gave you that. And the man said unto Joab, though I should receive 1,000 shekels of silver in mine hand, yet will I not put forth my hand unto the king's son. He said, look, I don't care what you're trying to give me. I don't care if I could get more money, more fame, notoriety, preeminence, glory. A lot of things, I mean, brothers that take that first opportunity in a heartbeat, man. You know what, 10 shekels? You know, I'm broke right now. I need help, right? You know what, I need to get my car out the shop. My tire, I'm riding around on a donut for 2 weeks. I need to get money in my food. So like I need to get food in my child's belly, man. So they're trying to make quick deals and do anything, man, to overthrow themselves and have no integrity for the Lord. He says, and the man said unto Joab, though I should receive 1,000 shekels of silver in my hand, yet will I not put forth my hand against the king's son. For in our hearing the king charged thee and Abishai and Hidiah, saying, beware that none touch the young man Absalom. So you got to have the type of spirit where you can listen. You can be patient. No matter what's going on, no matter what's presented to you, you still can have the opportunity to trust in the Lord and be patient to get through whatever you're dealing with.
Yeah, and that's a good word right there, because a lot of brothers, you find yourself getting tempted because you don't get things. Basically, you want things at a set time. And when it don't come at the time you want it to, you fall the hell out, man. Right? You go off, right? You start troubling your spirit. You start speaking corrupt words, right? You start sinning with your lips and charging the Most High foolishly, man. Right? Because you expect things to come on your time, right? That's what happened in the wilderness, man. What do you think happened when Moses went up to the mount and delayed? I believe the scripture actually says Moses delayed. And what happened to Israel? What did they do? They went off and they begged Aaron to make them a golden god, a calf, man, and said, these be thy gods that brought thee out of the land of Egypt. Well, let me get this in Exodus chapter 32 and verse 1. It reads, and when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mount, see that? And people expected Moses to come back. He was their leader. Of course, it's Yahweh, Bathsheba, but we know Moses was set up out of Most High, man. Right? Moses was set up to be a god on that earth, man. And he was king in Jeshurun to part the Red Sea and deliver Israel, man. Now, as much as the people was going to hell off, they knew Moses was the guy. So when Moses kind of delayed, that was a spirit of what? The Most High putting a spirit of temptation in the air, man. Right? When you expect something to come and it don't come, then you're going to be prone to go off, man. It says, and Moses delayed to come down. And guess what? That job might delay, man. Right? Your car might break down. It might delay. It might not be fixed immediately the time that you want it to be fixed, man. You may have an infirmity or a sickness, and then you may not be healed at the time you want to be healed, man. Things will delay. And guess what? It is what it is, man. That's the will of the Most High. You belong to the Lord's time. The Lord is not on your time. You're on his time, huh? You know, and I was another point I was thinking about the precept. I was reading Second Ezra last night, and I was reading about the mother. We know it's a parable, right? Let me actually get it. I'm not going to paraphrase. Let me just get this quick precept, right? In Second Ezra, right? The 10th chapter. Right, let me get this real quick. This is the book of Second Ezra, because she had a spirit, even though it's in the Second Ezra 9, Salakia, even though it's a parable. Here's what she said, right? Second Ezra chapter 9 and verse 43. She said unto me, I thy servant have been barren and had no child, though I had a husband 30 years. And those 30 years I did nothing else day and night, and every hour but make my prayer to the highest. After 30 years, the Most High heard me. See that? Thine handmaid looked upon my misery, considered my trouble, and gave me a son. And I was very glad of him. So was my husband also, and all my neighbors, and we gave great honor unto the Almighty. So she didn't get her son when the time that she wanted her son. The Lord delayed, right? And she had to keep praying every hour on an hour. Now, she could have got tempted and said, well, the Lord isn't real. the Most High isn't with me. Oh, why am I even alive? May the Most High curse me. And the Lord said, be patient with our change to a lower state, man. So when things delay, that's an opportune time for brothers and sisters to get tempted, man. When you have health infirmities, you see someone sick, going through pain, or you're going through a downward spiral in your life and things are spiraling out of control and you can't seem to get a grasp on life and reality, people tend to get depressed. They tend to harm themselves. They tend to look for other outlets that's not according to the will of the Most High God. Then they fall through their own destruction, man. You got it, King.
Con, right? I'm going to land me back on that. This is the book of Judith, chapter 8 and verse 14. It says, this whole thing is fire. I'm going to start at 14. It says, for ye cannot find the depths of the heart of man, neither can you perceive the things that he thinketh. Then how can ye search out God that hath made all these things, and know his mind or comprehend his purpose? Nay, my brethren, provoke not the Lord our God to anger. I mean, you don't know the mind of the Lord, man. He could be putting you through this to strengthen you up. And you sitting up there cursing the Lord when he had nothing but good intentions to build you up from that lower state that you're in. Maybe, brother, you keep getting met with this spirit because the Lord wants you to overcome this spirit. He wants you to grow stronger, fast more, pray more, have more precepts on hand about the matter. Don't nobody know the mind of the Most High to provoke him to anger. A lot of people, they just give up, like the brother said, cast away their garment, go in the world, get drunk, right? You don't know the reasoning of these things, man. There's no account of Tobit going to hell off, but the Lord suffered him those 8 years of him being blind, just to heal him in the latter end. Look at John the 9th chapter. He was born blind, that the word of the Most High may have preeminence and glory. You know, paraphrasing greatly, man. So the Most High's mind is not to be understood. It says, for he will not help us within these 5 days. He have power to defend us when he will, even every day, or to destroy us before our enemies. And these men, when you read this chapter, they were binding the Most High, saying in 5 days he better do this, man. In 5 days, this is going to happen. Don't say my car note is due the 25th and put all your faith in the 25th, and then the 25th come and the Most High doesn't grant your prayer and it overthrows all of your faith, man. Because you don't know the time of the Most High, nor the mind of the Most High. Do not bind the counsel of the Lord our God, for God is not as man, as he may be threatened. And brothers threaten the Most High, man. Yeah, if the Lord, he don't bring me out of this, I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do, man. Why am I going so hard for the Lord and he ain't going hard for me? You sitting up there intentionally threatening by your wicked speech the Lord, sinning by proud speech. Neither is he as the Son of Man, that he should be wavering. Let us wait for salvation of him and call upon him to help us. And if he will hear our voice, if it pleaseth him. And that's the type of spirit you got to have, man. She said, let us wait for salvation. And if it pleaseth the Lord, all praise to the Most High, he'll grant that. Don't let your faith be overthrown by not getting what you want immediately, man. Right? You got it.
Yeah, that's quick precept. And that's the easy, since we're dealing with temptation, that's one of the greatest times that brothers and sisters give heed to temptation, when things are prolonged. Right? The Lord said necessary patience in seeking the Lord is better than he that liveth his life without a guide. Right? So you need that necessary, meaning you better off waiting on the Most High than kind of just doing whatever you want to do, man, and being destroyed, man. You might as well wait 5 years on the Lord. It's better off waiting 5 years than you saying, hey, look, I think I can do this by myself. Right? You're going to be destroyed. The first minute you go and do that, you're going to die, man, and be cut down in the land of the living instead of waiting. If anybody should know how to wait, is us, man. A lot of brothers here read that here is the patience of the saints, right? And you just reading past it, man. You're commanded to wait. How many times in the scripture it says, wait on the Lord, wait on the Lord, wait on the Lord, man? And some brothers fall out because they get tempted by Satan, because some brothers expect too the Lord to come on their time. Man, if Yahushua don't return, I was told that Gog and Magog, they're going to link up and destroy America. And I saw Iran and Putin, I saw them shaking hands. What gives, oh Lord? Right? No, going before the Most High saying, what gives, man? Right? Hey, the Lord do things with the way he wanted to do things, man. James chapter 5, quick precept. James chapter 5 and verse 2. It reads, my brethren, count it all joy when ye fall into diverse temptations. So temptations are going to happen. There is no brother alive that can say I've never been tempted before. Right? Well, that's a hell of a brother. There's a brother on the earth that's in this truth that said I've never been tempted. Then I don't even know if you're in the truth, huh? Right? Because the Most High said, count it all joy when ye fall. Because men in the truth are going to deal with temptations. It's going to happen. Right? The Most High didn't tell Satan, hey, look, don't mess with this guy ever. Right? It don't work like that, man. It reads, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. So what does that mean, the trying of your faith? Temptation is to test you. When you try something, you test it. Like we always use the example of tryouts. Tryouts are really just testing these guys, man. On a football field, you're just testing them. See if they have the endurance, the willpower, the strength, the mental fortitude, right? The athletic abilities to be able to make the team. You're just testing them out. So the Most High said the trying of your faith worketh patience. When you're being tempted, you're being tested. You're being tested. And you got to look at it like that. It's not some mystic, nude, in-depth spirit. You're literally being tested by Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. And the Most High sent things your way, 1,000 things, and you can get 1,000 things at one time. I'm going to do this to him, do that. And the Most High sent all these demons out on you, man. And you just got to kind of sit there, right? And keep faith in the Most High through prayer, through exhortation, through counsel, right? You have to do these things, man. It reads, knowing this, that the trying, meaning the testing of your faith worketh patience. Because the Most High got to see if you really believe. I mean, that's what it comes down to. When you test somebody's faith, you really see, are they really about what they say? Because a lot of brothers say, Kwam Yashala, right? That means rise Israel, man. But brothers fall when temptation comes their way. Do you really believe in Kwam Yashala, or do you just say it because everybody else is saying it? You just like saying it. But every time temptation comes your way, you fall and you don't get back up, man. See, the Most I want to see if you really believe in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Brakatham. If you're just saying these things, man. You just put a mitri on because you saw the brother Riot had a mitri. Right? Then you had a staff in your hand because you saw Amos with a staff in his hand. Right? You know, you put a garment on because you saw this elder with a garment on. You have to really believe. Now, if you really believe and you repent, the Most High going to send these spirits your way. We're telling you right now, the Lord told you, He's going to send spirits your way to really prove you and put you to the test. Now, one more point. Are these demons going to do this? Hey, I'm temptation. Right? Do they give you a call like your DoorDash? Okay, I'm delivery. Look, I'm 10 minutes away. Right? 10 minutes away. Why don't you go on a fast? I'm coming with some stuff, man. I never got, right? You ever got a call from temptation? We never got a call from temptation. Right? And then we answer the phone. Yeah. Okay. Are you coming my way? Oh, my car gonna break down. On my way to work. I'm a hydroplane. I almost fall off the bridge. All right, I'll praise the water for the heads up. All right, temptation. See you later. All right, shalom. It don't work like that, man. It just comes randomly. Guess what? You gotta deal with it. You got it, King.
And you gotta be wise, man. You gotta know when these things are coming your way. You can't just be caught in guile and foolishness by lust, vanity, arguments, hatred, envy, or whatever type of spirit that's going to entice you. This Baruch chapter 4 and verse 25. My children, suffer patiently the wrath that is come upon you from God. But thine enemy have persecuted thee, but shortly thou shalt see his destruction. The Lord says shortly. Now, that don't mean, the very next day you get overthrown because you're looking for it to happen immediately, man. But you have to be long-suffering. The Lord said, you should see his destruction and shall tread upon his neck, man. A lot of brothers get overthrown, man. When is Esau going down? When is Esau going to be destroyed? When is America going down? It just opened up another bank in my neighborhood, man. It just opened up a new gas station down the street. I thought this place was going down. Now your faith starts to get overthrown. The Lord wants you to be patient. This First Peter chapter 3 and verse 16. Having a good conscience, that whereas they speak evil of you as of evildoers, they may be ashamed that falsely accuse your good conversation in Yahushua. For it is better if ye will of God be so that ye suffer for well doing than for evil doing. So the Lord likes for you to suffer for well doing, right? And sometimes you suffer. You suffer a life, right? You don't get to go out. You don't get to have fun. You don't get to enjoy certain things that other people do because you're too busy reading. You're too busy praying. You're visiting the homeless, right? You're suffering whatever temptation or plague for the righteous sake. A lot of people out here suffering for evil, man, right? They're damn shooting up dope, right? They're doing God knows what, getting overthrown. It says, for Christ also have once suffered for sins, the just for the unjust, that he might bring us to God, being put to death in the flesh, but quickly ended by quickly in the by the spirit, but which also he went and preached unto the spirits in prison. So you got to notice that you're in prison right now, right? Sin rules over you. These demons, they try to control you and manipulate you, and there's no way out until the Lord frees you in that day, man. Because in the kingdom of heaven, that's when you're going to be free. You're not going to ever have a jealousy spirit anymore. Or a woman isn't going to be overtaken by that. You're never going to have a hatred demon hop up on you about your brother and sister anymore. You're never going to have a grudge anymore. Right now, you're in prison. And if you ever been to prison or you seen 60 days locked up, locked in, or however it's called, or whatever these little shows are, they can't just leave the cell whenever they want. They can't eat the type of food they want. They're stuck in that condition, in that situation, until the day that they're free, man. And you're stuck in these bodies. You're stuck with these same spirits that trouble you. You may overcome them. You may beat them. You may fast, but they're still going to circle right back around. They don't stop. That it may be a demon that plagues you to the day of Yahushua, man. And it's up to you to beat that demon. And I always say, you may have won the battle, but you didn't win the war, man. Don't think just because you beat that demon that day, that demon somehow was defeated and he's disappeared to the third heaven and bound in a chamber somewhere, man. No, that demon is going to circle back around and he's going to bring 7 other demons, like I say in Matthew, the 12th chapter, verse 43 all the way down, if you're not diligent.
Yeah, and even the Apostle Paul, man, he prayed 3 times for that thorn in the flesh. It was really a demon because it said the messenger of Satan, which is a demon, to buffet, meaning to fight him, right? He said, I besought the Lord thrice, man, that it might depart from me, right? I'm going to get that too. Let me get this first real quick. This First Peter chapter 1 and verse 7. I'm going to start at 5. 1 Peter 1 and 5. Who are kept by the power of the Most High through faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed at the last time, wherein ye greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness through manifold temptations. So even though our forefathers knew that, hey, look, in this time, in this season, in the last time, you're going to be going through manifold temptations, man. Our forefathers went through manifold temptations in the wilderness, and we know who made it out, right? We know who made it out. If you don't know who made it out, Joshua made it out. Who else made it out? Caleb made it out. Who else fell in the wilderness? Moses, a man of God. He fell in the wilderness. Aaron, a priest, the high priest, he fell in the wilderness. Other top men, they fell in the wilderness, man. This is a new wilderness, man. And men have fallen by the wayside through manifold temptations. You're going through that all over again. That wilderness was set up to try you, man. Right? That's what it says. You're going through manifold temptations. Many tests. 1 minute, it may be your job. They just fire you all of a sudden. And the Most High's up there. Not that he's up there watching you. Or what are you going to do? He's got him fired from his job. Is he gonna fold? Is he gonna cry? Is he gonna curse me? What is he gonna do? Right? Is he worthy of the kingdom? Let's see how he responds to adversity. How does he respond to when his back is against the wall? How is he going to respond when I take all things from him? And that's what happened to Job, man. You have heard the patience of Job, right? I'm going to read on. 1 Peter 1 and 7. That the trial of your faith, see that? that the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of gold that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. You see that? So this is the trial of your faith, being more precious than gold. Don't they take gold and put it through the furnace to remove things that are unwanted, impurities, things that are undesirable, things that serve no profit? When you mine gold, you don't get pure gold that you see at Jared's or Zales or from Jacob the jeweler, man. That gold mined right out of the earth from the hands of a Hamite are what? It's filthy, it's mud, pieces of other metals in it. You might have silver in it. It might be some copper attached to it, and you got to sift it out, right, with the sifter, and then you got to take that gold and you got to put it through the fire. All right, and that putting it through the fire is going to remove the things that are unwanted. And we all have things that are unwanted in us, right? No man is perfect. No man is Yahweh Shai. There are things in us that have to be purified, man. So we have to go through the fire because there are things in us that the Most High doesn't want to make it to the kingdom. So it may be a spirit of doubt that you have. And once you go through that fire, the Most High removes that doubt from you. It may be a weed demon that you're dealing with. Keeps blowing up your phone, right? And then you're going through that fire, that temptation. Oh, man, I gotta overcome. I gotta pray. I gotta go before the Most High. Then the Lord have you overcome that demon, man. Right? That temptation or that testing was to remove that urge and desire from you. You become brighter and brighter, man, until the day of our Lord. Right? So that's what this thing is about, man. Our forefathers, they fell in the wilderness, and it was written for your learning. Right? And let me get one more. This 2 Corinthians. Actually, you got it, King. I'll get it after you.
Khan, it's the book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 3 and verse number 3. It says that no man should be moved by these afflictions, for yourselves know that we are appointed thereunto. So it's not a surprise. That's what the Lord is saying, man. It's not that like the Lord is going to tell you you're going to have all type of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in the kingdom of heaven, all land and dominion, and it's a sneak attack with temptations and adversity and plagues. No, the Lord has written from old all the things that our fathers have been through, man. Every time they've been tempted, every time they've been in a situation where they prevailed, every single time they beat demons, every single time the Most High name was magnified, all of that's written for our learning sake. So you can't say that you don't know that you're appointed thereunto. It says, for verily, when we were with you, we told you before that we should suffer tribulation. And Paul was telling these churches over and over that they're going to suffer tribulation. He told the church of Corinth that in the second epistle, man, right? In the first chapter. He said, behold, it's like it before that we should suffer tribulation, even as it came to pass, and ye know, for this cause, when I could no longer forbear, I sent to know your faith, lest by some means the tempter have tempted you. The tempter is Satan, and that's another name for him, because he tempts every single thing that you may fall short of, man. If Satan sees you weak at a moment or a certain situation, he's going to use that against you, man. Like, you got to understand, this is war. And these spirits and these demons, they're going to play on your weak things, right? If you argue a lot, he's going to play on that heavy, right? If you're overthrown because of financial problems, he's going to play on that, man. You having marital problems in your relationship, he's going to play on that. If you get overthrown by, I'm slothful, I don't want to read today, he's going to play on that. Whatever weak link that you have and what you're dealing with, Satan is going to tempt you with it. It says, by any means, the tempter have tempted you, and our labor be in vain. So everything you did could have all been in vain. You could have went on a fast for 2 days. Like it's saying, Sirach with a bell if you're washing. Because you go right back to that throw up and right back to that bomb. So you don't want all your labor of reading, taking out precepts. Certain brothers write lessons on what they are battling, man. You know what, I'm battling lust. Let me write a whole breakdown to it. So if that spirit hops on me, I could go to this whole breakdown. You know what, I'm battling this type of spirit of whatever the case may be. I'm going to go to that breakdown and I'm going to watch it. Now I'm going to go over these precepts. So you don't want to have your labor to be in vain that you brought forth. You got it.
Con. And let me get this as well. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 12 and 7. And really, you got to be circumspect too when it comes to temptation. Right? And if you are in tune with the spirit, for lack of better terms, you're gonna feel being tempted, right? A lot of brothers they wait until they go off, then they say, damn, I got tempted. That was Satan. You don't want to wait till afterwards, man. You don't want to wait until you're in bed with this brother's wife, right? You're damn getting out the bathroom, cleaning your ears with a towel on tomorrow. Damn, brother, it's too late, brother. Right? It's too late. Damn, Satan, man.
Yeah.
Right? Brother, I mean, what are you going to do now, brother? Right? You got to recognize this stuff before it happened, man. Right? You got to recognize this stuff before it happens. Don't let your job say, hey, look, man, you got the Shabbat. I know it's the Shabbat. Your supervisor, he don't say Saturday, he don't say Friday. He say, look, I know it's the Shabbat. And I know you go to camp. I know you make, let's say you make 25 an hour. We're going to bring you in. We're going to give you triple time. Once in a lifetime. You can't miss it. You can't run away from this. 75 an hour. Isn't this what you ever wanted? Think about what you can get. Think about it. 75 an hour. This is only for you. Don't tell nobody either. Right? Hey, man, get this money, man. Right? Camp would be, how long is camp? 5 hours. Are you gonna get suspended? Right? Your supervisor, he throwing the judgments out, man. Right? What you gonna have to hold post at worst? Think about it, man. But then next thing you know, you're like, well, yeah, hold post. I am my brother's keeper. Right? Yeah, he said, yeah. Just come in for an hour. Now you throwing Ock out there. Then next thing you know, you showing up, man. Right? You showing up to the damn car wash, man. Washing the damn cars for 75 an hour, man. As soon as you wring out your last towel, it hits you. Damn, that was Satan. Your brother, didn't you know that, man, when he called you Ock and said Shabbat and talked about holding posts and camp? You should have been picked up on that, man. That's why you got to have that spiritual awareness, that circumspection. Discernment. These are beautiful things to pray for. Yes, we pray for faith. Yes, we pray for wisdom. We pray for our nation, right? We pray for our family, our loved ones, right? But we also need to seek and have these petitions and supplications to the Most High for spiritual gifts like discernment, circumspection, the spirit of vigilance, and these things that carry you a long way in the land of the living, man. Right? Now I want to get this in 2 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 6. All right, 2 Corinthians chapter 12 and 6. But though I would desire to glory, I shall not be a fool. For I will say the truth, but now I forbear, lest any man should think of me above that which he seeth me to be, or that he heareth of me. So Paul had to tell the church some personal information about himself that he didn't tell to every church. He only told this to Corinth about what he was battling and dealing with. He opened up to him. Verse 7. And lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. So let me read that again. 2 Corinthians 12 and 7. And lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations. So Paul was on such a high level of his time, it could have got to his head, right? And everybody would have made him a god. They would have put him on Yahushua level. So the Most High had to send a demon on Paul. Like he said, well, hold on, the Most High didn't do that. I thought he loved Paul. I thought he said, my chosen vessel. Look, this is what he did. He sent a demon on Paul to humble Paul. And so men won't praise Paul and put him on a level of Yahushua. Right? That's what it says. There was given to me. Who gave it to him? The Most High. There was given to me a thorn in the flesh. Right? What is a thorn in the flesh? Meaning a spirit, a demon that you can't get rid of. You try to pluck it out, right? Like a splinter, some tweezers, and it's always painful. Brothers have them splinters you can never get rid of, man. Trying to push it out. thorn and you can't get rid of it. Now, it doesn't specify what kind of thorn this was, but it was a demon that was sent against Paul, right? It reads, to the messenger of Satan to buffet me, meaning to fight me, lest I should be exalted above measure. So the Most High sent that on Paul so he doesn't get exalted above measure. For this thing I besought the Lord thrice, that it might depart from me. So he prayed 3 times for this demon to leave him. And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in infirmities, that the power from Mashiach may rest upon thee. So Yahweh Shah told him, my grace is sufficient for thee. Meaning you being in this truth, that's enough. Right? That's enough for you, man. Reading on. For my strength is made perfect in weakness. And that's deep. When your strength is made perfect in weakness, man. At your lowest point, the Most High saying is that's when you're strongest. Right? Like I always use the example of, working out, lifting weights, and you're not at your peak when you're full of mirth and somebody's tickling you and you're laughing with a glass of wine, man. Right? You're not at your peak, man. There's nothing to tap into to fight. Right? There's no willpower. There's nothing to try to overcome, man. Right? When your back is against the wall and you don't have nothing else and you broke and your car broke down and you can't find your keys and you lost your wallet and your woman committed adultery and your children said, I hate you as soon as you came in the door, and then your knee hurt as soon as you walked in the house and you broke your kneecap. Hey, you at your lowest point right there, man. Right? You at your lowest point, but the Most High said, my strength is made perfect in weakness. Just like somebody that lift weights and pump weights or do push-ups, when you feel that burn, that's when you're the strongest, man. Right? Not when you do that first push-up. You're not your strongest. When you feel that burn, that lactic acid come in, and then you like, oh, this is it, man. So that's how you are in this truth, man. When these temptations come your way, that's when you're at your strongest, man. Right? But you got it, Kelly.
Khan, that's right. It's the book of Judges. I'm gonna start at 6 and 27. It says, then Gibeon took 10 men of his servants and did as the Lord had said unto him. And so it was, because he feared his father's household and the men of the city, that he could not do by day and that he did it by night. So the Lord had him to destroy, right, that idol, right, and all of that altar of Baal in his city. And when the men of the city arose early in the morning, behold, the altar of Baal was cast down, and the groves was cut down that was by it, and the second bullock was offered upon the altar that was built. So look how much zeal you have to destroy your whole altar. Strategically do it at night. Grab men like a ops mission. Go out, break it down, and in the morning everybody's just now finding out what's happening. He had hatred for this idol. But what did he go right back to doing, man? Idolatry. We're right back when you read the book of Judges, right? Chapter 8 and verse 24. It says, and Gideon said unto them, I would desire a request of you, that you would give me every man the earrings of his prey. So a lot of people, they may have the zeal to beat down a demon. They pluck a cigarette real zealously. But later on that night, they go right back to it, man. Don't think just because you have zeal at a moment and you're not fornicating, you're not committing idolatry, you're not doing all of these lewd things in the dark and smoking weed and hating your brother, that you can't return right back to your vomit. A lot of people return right back to their vomit. Look at the brothers you known in this truth, man. Or the sisters you known in this truth. Look how many have fell away. Look how many men fell away from Paul that he talks about. At that time, those men were standing firm. They were reading. They were laboring. They were traveling. They were wise. They was probably giving their 2 cents in how to help the congregation. But over time, demons, spirits, tribulation, they weigh on you. And you got to understand, if you're not mentally strong and spiritually strong to carry all of these things to fight it off, you're going to eventually fade away, man. Right? Brothers ain't going to say no names. We know plenty of mighty brothers, man, that fell away. I mean, those brothers were precepts. They were shaking the hand. They stood strong, right? They went into diverse topics. But over time, things that they were battling with in the dark got brought to the light, man. And it manifested by their fruit and the things that they were doing. It says, And they answered, we will willingly give them. And they spread a garment and did cast therein every man the earring of his prey. And the weight of the golden earring he requested was 1,700 shekels of gold, besides ornaments, collars, purple raiment that was on the kings of Midian, and beside the chain that was about the camel's neck. And Gideon made an ephod thereof, and put it in the city in Ophrah, and all Israel went thither, a whoring after it, which thing became a snare unto Gideon and into his house, man. So the same thing he beat down of idol worship and worshiping other gods is the same thing that snared him, man, by idolatry. So the same thing you overcome could be the same thing that snares you. You got it.
I got a quick precept with that. This 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 20. I'm gonna start at 19. It reads, while they promised them liberty, they themselves are the servants of corruption. For of whom a man is overcome, of the same as he brought in bondage. So certain brothers promise people liberty, meaning you talk about the grace of the Most High. You speak about the truth, right? You talk about the kingdom. You may tell your loved ones about everlasting life and the chariots, and you're making these posts on social media, and you're spreading this word like you're Philip the evangelist, man. And you're promising people liberty, but it says you yourself, you're the servant of corruption. Meaning it's hypocrisy. You're teaching people all manner of wisdom and the truth, but you aren't applying that to yourself, right? The Lord said in actually I'm gonna read on. It reads, for of whom a man is overcome, of the same is he brought in bondage. Meaning you're put back in slavery by that demon. You're teaching people to be free, be free, be free, but you're running back to the slave master. Well, what kind of sense does that make? Imagine being on a plantation in the 1700s, breaking everybody else's chains, right? In the middle of the night and saying, go, 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 be free, be free. We out, we can make it. We can be delivered. Go, follow the North Star or go north. And then you looking back at your slave master house. I'll catch up with y'all. Then you tiptoe right back in bed with master. Unlift his covers and get back in there and beat a little spoon, right? As you look out the window and watch all the Jake be free. Well, that's what brothers do in this truth, man. You promise people liberty, but you're still brought into bondage by these demons, right? Let's read on. For if after they have escaped, see that? People escape sin and then run back to it. You got to think about this stuff like Stockholm Syndrome. You got demonic Stockholm Syndrome. You start defending your slave master. That's what people do with pork. I've been eating pork my whole life. Ain't nothing really happened to me. I mean, think about it. My grandma ate pork. His granddaddy ate pork. And his granddaddy ate pork. And I was to eat pork too. Ain't nothing. Well, brother, that's demonic Stockholm Syndrome. Brothers committing adultery. Well, I mean, think about it. She did say that she, marriage, sex, her I can't even think of nothing a brother make up because we done heard so much madness, man. Yeah, she said she only laid with him twice. Now, what I was told, 3 is completion. So technically, brother, what do you mean technically, brother? That's his wife. Oh no, you got to wait the 3rd time. Remember, 666. Then the brothers start throwing wild precepts that have nothing to do with anything, man. The number 3 and linking it up. Well, brother, you yourself, you're going back into your same sin, man. You start defending the demon that you were delivered from. For if after they have escaped the pollutions of the world through the knowledge of the Lord and Savior, Yahushua Mashiach, they are again entangled therein and overcome. That's how you know it was a demon. The latter end is worse with them than the beginning. So when these temptations come your way, man, you gotta hold it down. And sometimes you get jumped, man. You got to kind of, you got to deal with it, man. You got to kind of, ball up a little bit, kind of take it and get back up, man. Right? And then you start swinging back on these spirits, man. Right? Let me get another quick precept about temptation. This 2 Samuel, actually, I want 1 Chronicles, right? This 1 Chronicles chapter 21 and 1. And Satan stood up against Israel and provoked David to number Israel. And David said to Joab and to the rulers of the people, Go, number Israel from Beersheba even to Dan, and bring the number of them to me that I may know it. So what happened? Satan stood up. What does it say? Satan stood up against Israel and provoked David. It didn't say Satan stood up against David to provoke David. It says Satan stood up against Israel and provoked David. So Satan could come against your household by provoking you, man. Satan really wants your son. He really wants your wife. He really want to overthrow everybody under you, man. He want to overthrow your child, your son, your daughter, your woman, right? And he's going to stand up against them, but he's going to provoke you. And he could do that to either one of us, man. See, Satan don't have to come directly at the person that he's looking to get. He's looking to see who has the most influence, and that could be that first domino to have the whole thing fall down. So what happened once the Lord stood up and David gave heed to that temptation? What happened to Israel? Let's jump down. First Chronicles chapter, because ain't nothing happened to David, really. What happened to Israel? First Chronicles chapter 21 and 11. So Gad came to David and said unto him, thus said the Lord, choose thee. So he got the choice. What kind of judgment do you want for giving heed to this temptation? Either 3 years famine or 3 months to be destroyed before thy foes, while that the sword of thine enemies overtaketh thee, or else 3 days the sword of the Lord, even the pestilence in the land, and the angel of the Lord destroying throughout all the coast of Israel. Now therefore advise thyself what word I shall bring again to him that sent me. You see that? So Israel got jammed up, man. This is verse 14 in First Chronicles 21. So the Lord sent pestilence upon Israel, and there fell of Israel 70,000 men. And God sent an angel unto Jerusalem to destroy it. And as he was destroying, the Lord beheld, and he repented him of the evil, and said to the angel that destroyed, it is enough. Stay now thine hand. And the angel of the Lord stood by the threshing floor of Ornan, the Jebusite. So all hell broke loose, man, on Israel. 70,000 men died because David was provoked and went off, man. What do you think happened to your household next time you give heed into temptation? To your nation, right? You may be in a congregation. It may affect your whole congregation, man. This thing is bigger than you. Right? Oh, it's not just, okay, I got heat. I kind of went off the temptation. Hey, the Lord, he might be coming through you, because if you are allowed to be that leaven, you're going to be turned into that whole lump and overthrow the whole congregation, the whole nation, the whole household, man. And you got to have that kind of mind and say, hey, look, man, this thing is bigger than me. If I give heed to temptation, what else may this cause and what else may it affect? You got it, King.
Khan, that's making me think about in the law. The Lord said, man, if you're scared, go home, paraphrasing, man. Because that's going to overthrow the whole army. Let one brother come in there thinking that he's going to be slain and he can't fight, and that's going to put a spirit on everybody. You know, the same way we're fighting, it's the same way you understand with everything. Right? You have a little bit of lust, and that little bit of lust get to spreading around. You cracking jokes in brothers' ear. If I was in the world, you already know. Now you starting up putting that spirit on that brother, man. Now you cracking the joke right back. Next thing you know, it's an inside joke. Next thing you know, man, just grows worse, more vulgar. It starts to let's get some drinks out the camp. Let's get some drinks. Go to the bar. You go to the bar. Now you just turning into somebody else. These spirits have laid hold on you. This 2 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 13. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. So these apostles had to be on some type of deceiving level to a T to overthrow this whole church. For Paul had to come in and set the record straight. Who's the real laborer? Who's the real man that goes to teach to do the work of the Lord, man? Don't put these men on a comparison of me. It says, such as false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. And anybody could transform themselves, man. Right? That could either be your wife, it could be your brother. Somebody could transform themselves in a way that's comely with a secret motive. Well, my brother wouldn't hurt me. Well, that's my wife. Right? Your wife may say, man, stay home. It's raining outside. Don't you have a cold? Don't overthrow yourself being over righteous. Don't go to camp today. The baby's crying. I need to do this. And if you're weak in the spirit, you're not going to perceive that it's Satan saying that. You're going to say, well, you know, my back does hurt. You know what it is, raining. We will be fools that stand out there. There's no sheep going to be out there. Next thing you know, you're curled up in the covers watching TV, man. And you get overthrown because somebody's transforming themselves in a situation that overthrows you, but you couldn't see it. Right? This is the mighty book of Job, chapter 34 and verse number 31. Surely it is meet to be said unto God, I have borne chastisement. I will not offend anymore. That which I see, not teach thou me. If I have done iniquity, I will do no more. Should it be according to thy mind, he will recompense it. Whether thou refuse or whether thou choose, I. Therefore speak what thou knowest. Let men of understanding tell me, and let a wise man hearken unto me. Job have spoken without knowledge, and his words were without wisdom. So when Job was catching all of this hell, Job had a spirit where he was getting overwhelmed. It says, my desire is that Job may be tried unto the end because of his answers for wicked men. So Job was being tried that whole time, man. The Lord said, have thou tried my servant Job, man. So when Job was getting tried, he was catching hell. He not only caught hell through the death of his family, through losing his sheep, right, by getting boils, but also his friends, the counsel that he received, and them talking to him overthrew his judgment. So don't just think that it's just a death or a lust or something like that. It could be conversation. Like the other precept I just called. Somebody could be coming to you. You get angry and get false counsel, whatever the case may be. You get overthrown, and now you're in sin. You got it.
Yeah, and that's the spirit, because I was about to get this precept that link with that. This 1 Samuel chapter 1 and verse 4. It reads, and when the time was that Elkanah offered, he gave to Peninnah his wife and to all her sons and her daughters portions. But unto Hannah he gave a worthy portion, for he loved Hannah, but the Lord had shut up her womb. And her adversary also provoked her sore, for to make her fret, because the Lord has shut up her womb. Right? It says her adversary. Now, the word adversary in the Hebrew is shaitan. That means a demon was on a Peninnah, same household. Right? Remember, Satan, like, and just to what the brother's going into, it's not going to appear himself with big red horns, right? And a jar of juice that says sin on it in blood, man. And pours you a cup of it and says, hey, do you want a cup? No. They can come from people in your own household, man. Right? These were so-called what you call sister wives, man. Same head, man. And it says her adversary provoked her sore, because it was a demon on Peninnah to provoke Hannah. Esau, yeah, we know Esau is Satan, but Satan got up on Jake. Right? We know that Satan he hopped on Judas Iscariot, and Yahushua told him that thou doest do quickly in the book of John 13, 26 on down. Right? Slaki. And it reads, and her adversary provoked her sore, for to make her fret, means to have her go through anxiety, man. See, these demons can make you anxious, have you go through anxiety attacks, mental breakdowns. You understand? Worrisome, stress, grief, sorrow, madness, vexation. It reads, and as she did, it says, because the Lord has shut up her womb. See that? And Satan will try to keep poking at that thing that you know that worries you, that bothers you. And you may have something, maybe you got an ailment on you, an infirmity that you know can't be healed. No matter how many times you've been praying and fasting, it seems like it would always be there. Maybe you got like a bad knee or a back, and it vexes you, and you know, spirits telling you, hey man, you ain't never gonna be healed, man. You keep praying to God. Most High, he would have been heard you, right? He would have been heard you if you was righteous. Right? If you was upright, then they told Job that, man, surely if you was upright, right? If you would have washed your hands, and they start telling Job all types of stuff, man. Hey, Job is a heavy book, man. False counsel, bad counsel, Real bad counsel from some of those men, right? Surely if you was upright, he would awake for thee.
So
Yeah. Yeah, they was saying all types of stuff, man, to Job. So somebody will say that to you, man. They'll try to talk to you. You confide them. They just giving you counsel to make you feel bad, man. Yeah, that's happened to you because you know you ain't diligent, right? You've been going hard for the Lord, man. You've been doing this, you've been doing that. Well, you know, if you was right, all you have to do is be upright, right? You need to I don't know, you need to be better, right? Well, what do you mean? I don't know, just do better. Oh, okay. And then you hang up the phone and you, what else can I do? Well, you let Satan get to you, man. You're doing the work of the Lord, man. Right? You're reading, you're studying, you're praying, you're putting forth your best foot forward, man. Don't let Satan try to bring you down by hopping on people. Right? Let's read on. And as he, it's like this 1 Samuel 1:7. And as he did so year by year, when she went up to the house of the Lord, so she provoked her. And you might be going to the house of the Lord, man. Every time you about to read, every time you think about the Most High, every time you about to study, every time you about to pray, every time you get in the spirit, a damn demon manifests, man. Every time she would go up to the house of the Lord, Satan was there. What do you think you're doing? Don't you know you're not pregnant? Are you still? And I could picture Eve, man. Right? I can see it now. Penaniah rubbing her belly. Come on, children. Then she look at Hannah. Where is your child? Oh, right. And just saying all types of stuff, man. Soon as you get to the house of the Lord, you see her there. What the hell is she doing there, man? She playing with her children, tossing them in the air, right? Oh man, this postpartum is something. You ever had Then she kind of I'm Salakia. So every time you might be thinking of getting to the Lord, Satan might be there, man, trying to tap into you to make you feel bad. Right? Let's read on. There's one more in this. It reads, and as he did so year by year, so Satan could come year by year. When she went up to the house of the Lord, so she provoked her, therefore she wept and did not eat. Some spirits can make you depressed, man. Year after year. Now you're crying and not eating. And that's how you know it's a demon, because it's making you destroy the image of the Lord, man, and the likeness of your maker, to make you starve yourself and not want to eat, man, and not give nourishment to the body that the Most High is giving you, man, to your maker. You know, that's how them demons be making people cut themselves, starve themselves, and bound themselves with curses. It reads, then said Elkanah her husband to her, Hannah, why weepest thou, and why eatest thou not, and why is thy heart grieved, and not I better to thee than 10 sons? And she was in Slakia. I'm gonna jump down. This verse 10. And she was in bitterness of soul and prayed unto the Lord and wept sore. Right? Now, when you read this count, what did she do when she was being tempted? She went to pray to the Most High. She poured out her soul. That's what it says. She poured out her soul unto the Most High, man. So when you're dealing with these temptations, you got to pour out your soul to the Lord. You got to resort to Yahweh Bashmi Awashah. Right? No matter what. Even if you go into the house of the Lord and that demon is right there, you think reading is going to escape. A fast is going to help you escape. You have to resort to the Most High, man, and pour out your complaint and soul before the Most High, that he may heal you. But you got it, King.
Come. It's the book of 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse number 4. It says, to an inheritance incorruptible and undefiled, and that fadeth not away, reserved in heaven for you, who are kept by the power of God through faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time, wherein ye greatly rejoice through now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness through manifold temptations, man. So a temptation isn't going to be just one time at one moment of the day. You're going to have many-fold temptations, many times, man. A cigarette here, weed here, an old conversation, somebody calling you there, right? Your wife's bringing up the past, right? Your husband, he may be bringing up the past. You may have all these temptations in one damn day, man. They even say in the world when it rains or pours, man. Because when you start to catch hell, I mean, all hell just start breaking loose, man. You got to perceive, okay, that's just Satan. Now I just know it's Satan, man. It's raining outside. Then out of nowhere, your car get a flat. Out of nowhere, people cussing at you on the side. Get off the side of the road. Now they cussing, throwing stuff, right? Police trying to get you off the road. Move this right now. I got a flat tire. I don't want to hear no back talk. Now you're getting your heads thrown against the damn glass. Trying to figure out what all of this is happening at one time. It says that the trial of your faith being much more precious than of gold that perish, though it be tried with fire. And that's the thing. A lot of brothers and sisters, they scared of the fire. Right? We have to start embracing that fire. It's going to be hard. It's uncomfortable. It's not something that people willingly want to come to pass, but we have to embrace it. Because if we don't embrace the fire, then we're never going to be able to grow. We have to understand that baptism is by water and the cleansing of the renewness of mind, and it's by fire. Don't forget the part of the baptism that nobody wants to talk about. You have to be baptized through fire too. The Lord said through water and through fire, the Holy Ghost, man. And that's going to purge you too and make you, undefiled, like it says. It's going to take out all those impurities. It says, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearance of Yahushua. So you want to grow right into the full stature of the Lord. Right, let me get this quick precept in Ephesians. Right, it's the book of Ephesians, right, chapter 4, and I'm gonna start at this whole thing is fire. I'm gonna start at 18. Having the understanding darkened, being alienated from life of God through the ignorance that is in them because of the blindness of their heart, who being past feeling, having given themselves over to lasciviousness, to work all uncleanness with greediness. But ye have not so learned Christ. If so be that ye have learned him and have been taught by him as the truth in Yahushua, that ye put off concerning the former conversation, the old man which is corrupted by the deceitful lust. You have to put off that old man, man. Stop embracing that old man and that old spirit and the things you used to like, man. Stop intertwining that old man and the spirit that you used to be in. Stop picking and choosing. It says, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and that ye put on the new man, which is after God is created in righteousness and true holiness. Wherefore, putting away lying and every slack speak every man truth with his neighbor, for we are the members one of another. So we have to understand when we get tried, that's that new man being tried. That's that new spirit. And we have to take that on, man, and stop intertwining that with the old thing. The old man would have easily picked up the cigarette, easily fought their brother when they stepped on their shoe, easily would have died for wickedness and took it just like that. But us being newness of mind, Satan's going to try you even more because he know you changing. Right? You got it.
And I took a quick look at the comment board, and it was Satan on the comment board, man, provoking brothers and sisters to go off, man, talking about God knows what, right? And that's the spirit, man, right? That's the spirit. Satan hopping on the comment board talking about things that I'd rather not speak of, man. Things that aren't worth mentioning, and we got to have that discernment. Say, hold on, that's Satan right there. Here it is. It's the live about temptation. This is a test to me. Am I going to give heed? Am I going to punch a hole in the wall? Because what was this guy's name? Jason Philip McCauley is on the comment board talking lewd things, right? Unmentionable things that shouldn't be spoken of, even in secret. Or am I going to focus on the spirit, right, and not let Satan vex me, man? So Satan is working in manifold ways, man. He's the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience, pursuant to Ephesians, chapter 2 and 1 on down. So Satan is real, man. This is an evident token of of Satan working mightily, even on a live stream, to try to overthrow the attention of the saints as the word of the Most High is manifest, man. That's Mark 4 and 14 on down, right? Now let me get this real quick, right? This is the book of Job, right? Chapter 4 and verse 1. Right? Actually, before I get that, let me get this real quick. This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 10, and I'm going to start at verse 4. I'll start at 5. It reads, "But with many of them, the Most High was not well pleased, for they were overthrown in the wilderness. Now these things were our examples, to the intent we should not lust after evil things as they also lusted. Neither be ye idolaters, as were some of them. As it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to play." So in the wilderness, the Lord says those men was overthrown for idolatry, for lust, fornication, tempting the Most High, murmuring. I'm going to jump down to verse 11. "Now all these things happen unto them for ensamples, and they are written for our admonition, upon whom the ends of the world are come." So the Most High said everything that happened to our fathers in the wilderness was written as a warning for you. That's heavy when you think about it. The Lord brought that generation out, showed them mighty plagues, delivered them with a stretched out and high hand in the sight of all of the Egyptians, and overthrew them in the wilderness just so you today could learn what not to do. Right? And you will be a fool to disregard everything that happened to them in the wilderness and say, well, that was old news. That was back then. That's the Old Testament. You got to take into account, and that's why we encourage brothers to read these accounts, man. Stay in the law. It's not just about not eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. It teaches you what not to do. Admonition, right? How to serve the Most High. How not to tempt the Most High. How the law teaches you about trials, afflictions, adversity, Satan, right? The law is manifold, man. It's not just growing your beard out. Now, I want to get this, man. We brought this out at camp, but I'm going to get it again. This Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 1. "All the commandments which I command thee this day shall ye observe to do, that ye may live and multiply and go in and possess the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers. And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee and to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no." So the Most High brought them in the wilderness to prove them, right? To see if they was really about it. Are they really going to keep the commandments? Because the Most High could have took them straight out of Egypt, straight line to the promised land. The Most High put them in a situation where he's going to test them. And like we're going into tonight, that's what this situation is now in America, right? You being in this truth right now before the kingdom is another wilderness. Is you being tested, right? You got to look at how our forefathers fell, and are you going to fall the same way? Are you going to fall through lust, right, of the world or woman? You're going to let that woman get you? She's married, but she keeps reaching out, begging for the in-depth breakdown, asking for you to break down Genesis, but it says be fruitful and multiply. She wants it triple fold. She don't like the single fold breakdown. It has to be something deeper. She keeps saying it has to be something deeper to it. And you're just sitting up there getting caught up in the madness, man. And her only free time is from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. She's booked any other time. She has bad service. That's what she's telling you. So this breakdown has to be done in person, right? And it just so happened that she sent her location. She never does it, she told you, but it was by accident, right? And she knows your favorite food, man, that you like to eat, man. You like peach cobbler. It just so happens peach cobbler is made, right? Well, brother, what are you doing, man? Some brothers, they'll get in that car and they're gonna, I'm just going breaking the scripture. And what people do is they convince themselves. They damn train their mind to make them believe that what they doing is right. And meanwhile, you're like an ox to the slaughter, man. You know, you're not going over there to break down, be fruitful and multiply, brother. It's plain. And you know it's plain. But you want to go over there and give the new in-depth breakdown. Now, I don't know what that means. Can you really, just show me, right? well, you know, I don't just show me, right? Okay, well, you know, when you think about it, and then next thing you know, brother, you know, it's over, man. And you back in the world, man. Doing God knows what. You got it, King.
Right, this is the book of Judges, chapter 16, and verse number 10. And Delilah said unto Samson, behold, thou hast mocked me, right? And told me lies. Now tell me, I pray thee, where thou mightest be bound. That's a wicked question. Right? I wish a woman would tell me, how do I bound you, man? That's off. That's wicked. Where is your strength and your power lies where I could bound you, man? And he should have seen that coming, that she was trying to take his strength from him. But he got lured away. It says, and he said unto her, if they bind me fast with new ropes and never were occupied, then shall I be weak and be as other men. And through the spirit, he shouldn't even been responding back to her, man. A lot of brothers like that made me think of what the brother was talking about. You kind of entertaining it, man. When you entertaining it, you putting yourself in a position to be overthrown. Right. Now he's not. He's kind of tucking what it really is. He's not really trying to say it right now, but he's still indulging in that flirtful conversation, man. If you flirting and you pitching your tent towards Sodom and you coming in and out of a room and you know I just came to check out things. I just came to drop by spirit. Then, brother, you're going to be eventually overthrown. Or I just want to ride in the back seat, man. It says, Delilah, therefore, took new ropes and bound them therewith and said unto him, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And there were liars in wait abiding in the chamber, and he brake them from off his arms like a thread. And Delilah said unto Samson, there are two, thou hast mocked me. So he should have already perceived she tried to bound him, overthrow him, and she's still talking to her, man. So, I mean, a spirit, you could be deceived. You can have a deceived spirit on you, man, with delusional spirit. Or you can't see things clearly spirit, or a lustful spirit. You got to be able to see these things clearly, man. If somebody keep trying to overthrow you or put you in a situation, you got to perceive this. It says, tell me wherewith thou mayest be bound. And I'm led to believe she was saying soft, mellow, right? Like the women of this world, they flashing their eyes, blinking, trying to look all cute. And he said unto her, if thou weavest 7 locks of my head with the web. Jumping down to verse 16. And it came to pass when she pressed him daily. So she wouldn't let it go, man. She pressing him daily and daily, whispering, laughing, giggling, love taps, pushes, shoves, right? Call and hang up so you can call right back. Did you say something? Did you mean to call? Now that you're on the phone, now you start giggling, right? Somebody start pressing you daily. That's nothing to say. With her words, and urged him so that his soul was vexed unto death. And Satan to keep plaguing you till you say, okay, I give up. How much more can I take of this? Okay, you got it, you got it, you got it. I'll do it. It says, and he told her all his heart. And then that's not profitable to tell a woman all your heart, man. The Most High doesn't tell us everything about him, so there are secrets and mysteries and other things that are not written that the Most High has in store for us, and other things we'll never know, man. You have to understand how deep the Most High is. The Most High is not going to give you all of his heart and all of his mind and give you all of the breakdowns and all of the prophecy. Even the prophecy that we have, guess what? We know it apart. No man walking the earth completely understands every word that is written to the T, man. That man would be Yahushua. We prophesy that part. We link it up the best way we can through the spirit and power of the Most High God. And the spirit he has put upon men, which is understanding. It says, and he said unto her, there have not come a razor upon my head, for I have been a Nazarite unto God from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak and be like any other man. So he gave up. He threw in the towel. He stopped having that strengthful spirit to be able to stop, this spirit that was on him. But he just gave up, man. He threw in the towel. And what happened to him? He got overthrown. You got it.
Yeah, that's a sad case, man. That's a sad case, man. It can happen fast. Satan could get you fast, man. right? He can get you real fast and overthrow you, right? Let me get this a quick precept, right? In the book, I just had this. Slaki. Let's go to Hebrews, right? This Hebrews chapter 4 and verse. I'm gonna start at. Actually, I wanted Jude, right? That's the spirit. I wanted to get this precept first. It's Jude chapter 1 and verse 5. It reads, I will therefore put you in remembrance, though ye once knew this, how that the Lord, having saved the people out of the land of Egypt, afterward destroyed them that believed not. Right, and that link up kind of with Samson, because the Most High brought Samson under the power of the vow, of the Nazarite vow, and you could be brought into grace with the Most High, but you can still fall out of this thing. Men, they could be brought out of Egypt like they was in the wilderness, and then die in that wilderness, man. You could be brought out of, and that's why Jude is saying that. It's really talking about men that are brought out of the world, and then they die in this time period before the kingdom. Right? Due to slothfulness, due to Satan, ultimately, due to giving heed to these temptations, man. Right? Letting these spirits work on their mind. And you have to have that mind that look, at any given second, Satan could present itself to me. Satan can manifest itself through my wife, through my children, through my so-called boss, my co-workers, right? Through materialistic things that could break down and diminish, through somebody's health and their infirmities to vex you. And you have to be cognizant that you're walking in the battlefield, right? That you're constantly walking in the battlefield. And not only that, you got to be mindful that the Most High is proving you, man. That the Most High is proving you. Remember, what did the Most High tell Satan? Hast thou tried my servant Job? Or hast thou considered my servant Job? What did the Most High said that about you? Have you considered my servant so-and-so? Right? That man is perfect and upright, man. One that feareth God and escheweth evil. Now, you're going to make the Most High a liar and give heed to that Satan or give heed to that demon? Then the Most High say, damn, sorry, Satan, I was wrong about this guy. Do you want the Most High telling Satan, I was wrong about you? Because you're the one that gave heed to the temptation? Right? You don't want the Most High to have his name blasphemed in the heavens, man. Because the Most High said that you were faithful and upright. Right? But you're the one not living it, man. Because every opportunity you get provoked. Everything gets you out the spirit. Everything make you damn darken in your countenance like sackcloth. Everything make you punch a hole in a wall. Everything vex you. Everything bothers you, man. That's how you know you're getting the heat. You got to get this armor the Most High on, man. Everything shouldn't bother you and get you out the spirit and make you react to everything. That's how you know temptation is coming your way, because temptation ain't always sex. It's not always lust. It could be wrath, man, anger. Whatever you deal with, that's what's going to tempt you. If you got the spirit of getting the attitude and being ornery, then it's going to get you, man. If you got the spirit of wrath when you got road rage, don't you know when you drive and somebody going to try to cut you off? Make you swear to tempt you, man. That's Satan. And you got to have that spirit, right? This First Peter chapter 5 and 8, right? The classic. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Right? So Satan is looking for anybody. He's looking for the elect. And he's hunting and coming after you, man. Satan will tempt you to make you want to sleep, man. Here you are, you're about to read, and now you're falling asleep. Satan be trying to get me like that, man. As soon as I open up the scriptures, a damn sleep demon try to get me, man. Right? Next thing you know, you got to kind of fight that demon, man. So these spirits, they try to work against you. You got it, King.
Come. It's the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 11, and verse number 1. It says, and it came to pass, after the year was expired, at the time when kings go forth to battle, that David sent Joab and his servants with him, and all Israel, and they destroyed the children of Ammon and besieged Rehoboth, but David tarried still at Jerusalem. So David didn't go to war with the rest of his army. He tarried back. And it came to pass at the evening time that David arose from off his bed. So Satan knew what exact room, what exact window, the exact time. Everything is not just going to happen. Just fancy seeing fancy seeing you here, man. You haven't seen this person in 4 years, right? And then it's just everything's just lining up perfect. No, Satan set this up. It says, and walked upon the roof of the king's house, and from the roof he saw a woman washing herself, and he saw Salakia, and the woman was very beautiful to look upon. So I mean, Satan got to King David and overthrew him, man. And Satan can get to you. Right? We got King David getting overthrown. Adam got overthrown. Samson got overthrown. Solomon got overthrown. All of these mighty men got overthrown, whether it be by women, right? Satan using women or whatever the case may be. Satan overthrow the mighty. I don't think it's just, the mighty men don't get tempted. They just overcome everything. No, everybody falls from time to time. We have to learn from these accounts in the spirit. And we have to learn by repetitive things. If things keep repeating over and over in your life, you got to kind of notice, okay, well, a spirit always hop on me around 12 o'clock. I need to get off my phone. I need to stay off the internet, man. I need to go to sleep early. Or me and my red, we always arguing, when we watch this type of TV show. Or when this topic always come up. You got to see, the patterns also. It says, and David sent and inquired after the woman. And one said, check this out. And one said, is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Elam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? So he was warned. Somebody said, well, hold on now. Isn't this Uriah the Hittite's woman? It says, and David sent messengers and took her. So he had Satan on him to hear that and still push forth to his desire, man. And the brother may warn you, man. Hey, brother, you should go to camp, man. Stop being lazy. Stop being slothful. Yeah, you got that warning. You still didn't go to camp. You got that warning to stop smoking. You watched that video. Most High condemn your spirit. You got that dream, right? You got that witness. You got that counsel. And you went right against it and get overthrown. So don't think that the Most High isn't going to try to help you in that situation too, man. When Satan presents himself, you still have precepts. You still have counsel. You still have brethren. You have videos. You have precepts. You have all of these things that help you fight Satan. You're not just locked in a sinful room with a red blinking light that just says sin, lust, nastiness. And then it's just blinking all different words and you pulling out your hair and you give in, man. The Most High is going to make a way for you to escape. Let me get that real fast. In 1 Corinthians, the 10th chapter, man. Because the Lord is going to make a perfect way for you to escape. But he's only going to make that way perfect if you stay spiritual, man. Right? This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 13. There have no temptation taken you but such as is common to man. Meaning nobody is dealing with something that's newly created, man. Everybody has dealt with anger. Everybody has dealt with maybe slothfulness or that spirit trying to hop on them. Everybody has dealt with maybe the spirit of making excuses, not holding himself accountable. Right? Everybody has dealt with these things. It says, but God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able. Meaning the Lord is going to make it to be impossible for you to overcome the spirit. So no matter how hard it is, that should be a testament of how strong you are. It could be 19 spirits, people trying to fight you. Your house just got broken into. Your car just got repossessed. That should tell you how strong your spirit is. The more you catch hell and the amount of it that you catch, that should be like, damn, the Most High must think something of me to overcome these things, man. And how strong the Most High may be looking at me, because the scriptures don't lie. So I have to be strong enough to bear this, not just bear it, but overcome it. It says, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. Okay.
That's right. And there's a reward for overcoming temptation. There's a reward for that, man. And you feel good once you overcome temptation. Right? You feel strong. You feel zealous. You feel like you could run through a brick wall, man. Once you know temptation came your way and you deferred, it could be somebody trying to provoke you to be angry, man. To be argumentative, to be wrathful, and you turn the other cheek. Oh, you got it. All right? Or you just, I'm going to throw up some prayers for you. You feel good, man. Then Satan's following you around the house. Well, you don't want to talk about it. Yeah, that's why your father left you. Just looking for anything, man. I'll call the police on you. Then they just looking and looking. Yeah, that's what my ex, he was so and so, man. He was whatever. You know? Just look, then she looking, he still ain't give heed to that. Then she say that one thing, and then you blow up, man. Right? That one thing, that's why you short. That's that one thing that gets everything else was like water off a duck back, man. How they say. Then that one thing she say, now you blowing up, man. Right? This thing is warfare. It's all it takes is that one thing. Right? And you gotta fight this thing, man. You gotta fight this. And I want to get this because there is a reward for overcoming temptation, right? And righteousness. This the classic Genesis chapter 22:1. And it came to pass after these things that the Most High did tempt Abraham and said unto him, Abraham, and he said, behold, here I am. And he said, take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest. See that? And the Most High didn't have to say all that, man. Right? He could have said, hey, take Isaac, take him up to the mountain, and you know, I'll tell you what to do later. No, the Most High said, take now thy son, thine only son. So now Abraham's thinking, damn, this is my only son. Really don't have. Why would the Most High have to say thine only son like Abraham didn't know that already? Right? Like this was some new information to him. See, but this is how the Lord get down, man. Ain't said take thy only son who you love. Oh, damn, I do love Isaac, man. That's the son of my old age, right? That's the son of the promise, right? So now you're kind of thinking about these things, man. You got to think about what could possibly have went through Abraham's mind and how these words could have kind of played on his emotions, man. How the Most High came to him. The Most High is a mastermind, man. He didn't accidentally say thine only son whom thou lovest. He didn't just throw that in there for no reason, man. This is strategic to make you consider, right? Are you still going to get down with it after I remind you that this is your son, your only son that you love? Think about that, right? That's what the Most High said. And get thee into the land of Moriah and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee of. That's the thing. Hey, it's a mountain I got for you, man, to offer your son. Yeah, not just any son, your only son, the one you love. Now, a lot of brothers, I could do that. That's easy. I can do the chain up. Well, brother, I mean, you're not Abraham, man. Right? You didn't have a son at 90 plus years old, man. Your only son. Then your other son, he's not really your son like that in the spirit, man. He's not the son of the promise. Every brother that say they could do that, you've never been in Abraham's shoes. So you can't say that. You can't say good or bad concerning this matter until you're 90 plus years old, having a son at your old age, your only son. And you got to offer him up. You got to kill your own son. That's a big deal right there, man. It's not a small matter. But here's what Abraham did. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his ass and took two of his young men with him and Isaac his son and clave the wood for the burnt offering and rose up and went to the place. It's like it went into the place of which the Most High told him. So Abraham rose up early in the morning, man. You see that? To do the will of the Most High, despite what the Most High reminded him of regarding his relationship with the son, with that being his only son who he loved, and that could overthrow somebody, man. What if the Most High told you to do something, man, like that? Take your wife, bind her up, and offer her up while she's asleep. You might say, "Whoa, hold on now, whoa, Lord, that's a demon." You might go on a fast. You might get counsel. You might make a phone call. Not saying you shouldn't do that, right? Because a brother, you know. Nevertheless, the Most High came to Abraham, and Abraham did it, right? And Abraham did it with no reluctance, because he had belief in the Most High. When you read Hebrews, he did that because he believed the Most High could have raised him from the dead. Let me get that in Hebrews chapter 11. Right? And there was no account of the resurrection at that time. There's no account of nobody rising from the dead. But Abraham believed the Most High so much, he believed the impossible. He believed the Most High could raise his son from the dead. And we only know about that and believe that because of Yahweh Shai, man. And certain accounts. Abraham didn't have the account with Elisha raising that young boy up. He didn't have the account of Peter raising up Tabitha, Yahweh Shai himself, our king, being resurrected. Right? He didn't have these things, man. All he had was the faith of the Most High. Right, real quick, this Hebrews chapter 11 and verse, let's see, bear with me. Salakia. Hebrews chapter 11 and I believe that's what I want. Bear with me. You got it, King. I'm probably overlooking it.
You looking for verse 8?
No, that's not what I want.
Okay, God. Verse 17?
Yeah, that's what I want.
God.
All right, Hebrews chapter 11 and 17. By faith, Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac, and he that had received the promises offered up his only begotten son, of whom it was said that in Isaac shall thy seed be called, accounting that the Most High was able to raise him up even from the dead, from whence also he received him in a figure. So Abraham believed in the resurrection, man. Before the resurrection was even a concept, before it was even a thing. That's how much faith Abraham had. And that faith is going to get you through that temptation. So when temptation is coming your way and you're feeling like you're about to get out the spirit and all hell going to break loose, you got to believe that the Most High can get you through that temptation, first and foremost, man. The same way you got Abraham through that temptation. You got it, King.
Come, I'm about to bring this out too. It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 24 and 16. It says, Son of man, behold, I take away from thee the desire of thine eyes with a stroke. So the Lord, he really get up with you, man. He'll take away the desire of your eyes, man. That could be a child, like the brother was going into. When we read the book of Genesis, that could be your wife. It could be your elderly father, your mother. Whatever chief desire and joy that you have in your life, and the Lord can take that away from you and see what type of spirit you move in, man. And a lot of people don't crumble. They'll get depressed, have anxiety, grow secret murmuring in the back of their mind and hatred and envy and start to feel like, maybe this isn't what I want it to be, man. And then you start slowly not believing and your faith starts to crumble and you get overthrown. It says, yet neither shalt thou mourn nor weep. And that was a heavy thing for the Most High to put him in this situation. Because if he wasn't strong enough to do that, he would have been overthrown. The Lord told you to take your wife, or your wife is going to die and you can't mourn for her. That's kind of the only thing we have is emotions. A lot of people, they deal with things differently. A lot of people, they cry, right? A lot of people, they'll mourn, they'll weep, right? They'll be sad, sorrowful, right? They'll be in a lament spirit or whatever the case may be. He said, thou shalt neither mourn nor weep, neither shall thou tears run down, forbear to cry. Make no mourning for the dead, bind a tire of thine head upon thee, and put on thy shoes upon thy feet, and cover not thy lips, and eat not the bread of men. So the Lord told him to move in a whole different spirit. And that may be impossible, man. Because if this was you and this account happened, you understand that you and your family, a lot of brothers will fall out the truth. Like, okay, now it's getting out of hand. All right, now, it's just getting out of hand. How much more must I suffer, go through? Now you start backbiting, murmuring, showing hatred, being proud, right? Coming against the Most High. You don't know how the Most High is going to try you. Everybody has a different cup that they have to drink of. Ezekiel's cup was that his wife was going to be taken away from him. Abraham's cup was that his son was going to be taken away from him, but it wasn't. Everybody has their different cup that they have to drink. And everybody has to understand that everybody's going to be different. This brother may have more in his cup than me. I may have more in my cup than you. But you can't look at another brother and say, well, why am I catching more hell? Why is this going this way and this that way? Look at all that the Lord had to deal with, man. It says, so I spake unto the people in the morning, and at even my wife dead. And I did in the morning as I was commanded. So it's no account of him running away. It's no account of him giving up. It's no account of him not having faith. Ezekiel was a very strong man in the spirit. And he took that because he loved the Most High more than anything. If you're in this truth, you have to deny yourself, deny your family, your desires, your hopes of this world, what you used to be, maybe a rap star, an athlete, right? An actor, right? Somebody, a comedy man, a comedian, whatever you aspire to be, you have to deny that, leave that, and follow whatever the Lord wants you to follow. The Lord told Abraham to get up and go to a country which you know of not. Huh? Never gave a map, fell down from the third heaven. And then it was a route. And then he kind of knew that he had to go 2 weeks from now, 5 days and 30 seconds. No, he had faith. He got up and he walked. You have to have faith in the trail, in the life that the Lord is going to put you on, man. We don't know where we're going to be 2 weeks from now if we're still here, a month from now, 4 months from now. We could be in the wilderness somewhere, man. Right? This internet thing cannot exist anymore. We don't know what's going to take place 5 years from now if we're still here, man. But we have to have faith in the Most High with whatever we deal with and whatever we're going through, that he didn't depart from us. Like the Lord said, let me get this quick precept in 2 Maccabees. The 2 Maccabees, right? Chapter 15 and verse number 7. But Maccabeus had ever sure confidence that the Lord would help him. So no matter the situation, no matter him being outnumbered, no matter what he dealt with, his confidence overrid the fearful spirits that could hop on you. It says, wherefore he exalted his people, not to fear the coming of the heathen against them, but to remember the help which in former times they had received from heaven. That's like what David said, man. I will remember the right hand of the Lord. Stop remembering all of the times and the situations where you didn't get anything, man. That's what a damn nigga does. You tell somebody yes 1,000 times, the first time you say no, that's who they remember you as. And then he got a sour taste in his mouth about you, man. Remember all of the times the Most High fought for you, delivered you, the mighty dreams you had, man. The prophecies that he stood at your door and knocked and revelated unto you, man. The long hours you spent studying, the times you didn't want to fast, but the Lord pushed you to fast. All the impossible feats that you did, not of yourself, but of the Lord, man. How the hell did you find a wife? You don't deserve a wife. You don't deserve a house. You don't deserve a job. How did you pass that test? How did you get out of school? How did you make a home that night? If you think about all the things in your life leading you up to this point that you're at right now, how can that one situation or that one temptation overthrow you and think that the Lord is departed from you, man? The Lord is not a genie. You do not rub a lamp and whisper and say some type of, you throw dust in the air and he appears, man. So you can't be overthrown by the least of your temptations or what you're dealing with at the moment. It says, which in former times they have received from heaven, and now to expect the victory and aid which should come upon the end from the Almighty. Okay.
And you know, that's the spirit of what's to come on the earth. You know, when you think about it, because I mean, right now, what the Lord said in 2 Corinthians chapter 4 is that this is light affliction, right? This 2 Corinthians chapter 4, and I'm going to start at verse 17. For our light affliction, which is actually I'm going to start at 16. For which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. So the outward man perishes, meaning your body breaks down, you get old, you may get arthritis, you know, your knees may start to buckle and ache, and whatever the case may be. Your outward man perishes, your beard grows gray, your hair and your body's decaying, ready to meet the grave, but the inward man is being strengthened and every day being renewed in the image of Yahweh Shah. It says, for which cause we faint not. Right? Verse 17, for our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. So you have to also consider that this is light affliction. These temptations now aren't to be compared with the temptations of what's to come. Right? You have something called the hour of temptation. This is not the hour of temptation right now. You not being able to pay your rent, because you came up short, it's not the hour of temptation. Right? You and your back hurting, and you're trying to figure out, do you want to go to Esau? Do you want to get whatever, man? That's not the hour of temptation. Right? The hour of temptation is the highest level of temptation that any Israelite will ever experience. It is the highest level of temptation that anyone of any nation has or will ever experience in the history of temptations. Right? That is the time of Jacob's trouble. Let's get that in Revelation chapter 3 real quick. I want to get this. Right? Revelation, and that goes into what Ariah was saying. During this time, you definitely want to have that spirit of faith to drive you through that temptation. Faith is what's going to be that catapult to move you in the midst of temptation, right? Hey, during temptation, you're going to have to do things that you never thought that you would do just because you believe. Right? This Revelation chapter 3 and 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience. See that? I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So the hour of temptation is coming. Right? You never know what type of situation you may be in, right? I mean, think about what happened during the time of the Maccabees. Yeah, brothers, I don't want to think about that. I just want to think about this. Well, think about what happened with Eleazar. Wasn't Eleazar tempted? And they said, look, you don't have to eat the pork. Just pretend you're eating the pork. Right? Just pretend that is swine's flesh. Let me get that real quick. This is similar to something that may very well happen in the hour of temptation. Right? This second Maccabees, chapter 6 and verse 21. It reads, but they had the charge of that but they that had the charge of that wicked feast for the old acquaintance they had with the man. Taking him aside, besought him to bring flesh of his own provision, such as was lawful for him to use, and make as if he did eat of the flesh taken from the sacrifice commanded by the king, that in so doing he might be delivered from death, and for the old friendship with them find favor. So Satan might come to you, man, and make you try to do something like this or similar, where they told him to eat pork and he wasn't going to eat it, so they say, here, try some lamb, here's some venison, just pretend it's pork. And they pulled him to the side, man, and he could have got weak and said, oh, yeah. Hey, look, I think a lot of brothers would have ate that stuff that they gave him. A lot of brothers would have ate that, man, because they would have justified and said, well, it's not pork, it's lawful. Right? It is lawful. It ain't. Show me my sin. Show me where pretending to eat pork is a sin. I can see it, brother. I can see those thoughts playing out in his mind now. Show me it's off. Right? Well, this man got tempted, man, in old age to live just a few days longer. See, Satan will tempt you to live a few days longer, to love your life. Right? It's going to go beyond. That's why I tell you in Revelation chapter 12 and 11 on down that these men love not their lives unto death. So your temptation may come at the expense of your own life. Not the expense of a money or a job or your health or an infirmity or somebody close to you. It's going to come at the expense of your own life. Are you going to give heed to temptation to prolong your life and the pleasures of sin? Or are you willing to lose your life for this truth, man, and not go through that temptation? right? And you got to make that decision. So what did he do? 2 Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 23. But he began to consider discreetly, and as became his age, and the excellency of his ancient years, and the honor of his gray head, whereon was come, and his most honest education from a child, or rather the holy law made and given by the Most High. Therefore he answered them, and willed them straightways to send him to the grave. And that's some of the hardest words you can say in the scriptures, man. That's one of the toughest accounts, man. The mightiest accounts, man. He says, send me to the grave. How many brothers going to say just send me to the grave, man? Right? And he was an old man. He didn't say, well, look, he said, send me to the grave. And he was what? How old was this man? In his 90s? I think he was 90 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Right? He was up there, man. Up in his old age. Right? Salakia. Yeah, he was up there in his old age. Nevertheless, he says, send me to the grave. So you might get tempted, and Satan might say, hey, look, man, eat this swine's flesh. Eat this pork. Here's a briefcase with $10 million. Just tell me where your brother is, man. Tell me where Uriah is. Right? I know you know where he is. Right? I know y'all used to teach together. Here's 10 million. Right? I have your wife. I know y'all got separated. Then y'all get said, she's right here. She's in this room. Right? She's in this room right behind you. Don't you want to see your wife and your children? Right? And there's a briefcase with 10 million. Just tell me where he is. And then eat the swine's flesh, and you'll see your family. And guess what? That's temptation right there, man. And you're going to have to make that decision. Right? Then they open up the door, and you hurt to see your children. Daddy! Then he hurt to slam the door. And then you hear him crying behind the door, man. And you're gonna have to figure this thing out. You got to figure it out fast. That's the hour of temptation, man. And you have to have faith in Yahweh Bashmiah Rashad that he's going to deliver you from that situation. Or you have to make, and you have to make that decision that you may very well have to lose your life for this truth. It just may come down to a certain men are just going to have to lose their life for this truth, man. See, we expect to overcome temptation and live sometimes, right? In this life, sometimes overcoming temptation, hey, you got to die for this truth, man. That's how also you overcome temptation, by giving your life for Yahweh Bashmiah Rashad. Right? But you got it, King.
Khan. It's a mighty account. It's the book of Joshua, chapter 7, and verse 20. Right? And this goes into temptation too. This man, he took the Babylonian garment, he hid it, he lusted after it, he wanted it. Right? His soul and his spirit was knit unto it. Right? We can't move in that, man. Everything in this world, we can knit ourselves to, man. When you take off the spirit of the Most High, you put on the garment of this world. You put on a garment of fun, dancing, mirth, carnivals, right? All type of festivals and concerts. You start to move in a different spirit. That's what this man secretly did. And then he hid it on his tent, man. And your tent is your dwelling place. You may hide it deep down within you, in your mind, in your reins, in your spirit. Don't think the Most High is going to search you, man. Right? It's the book of Joshua, chapter 7, verse 20. And Achan answered Joshua and said, indeed, I have sinned against the Lord, God of Israel, and thus have I done. When I saw among the spoils a goodly Babylonian garment, and 200 shekels of silver, and a wedge of gold, 50 shekels of weight, then I coveted them, and took them, and behold, they were hid in the earth, in the midst of my tent, and the silver under it. So when he saw all of those things, his spirit lighted up, and that's off. Your eyes can't lust, and your spirit light off of carnal things and witchcraft and all type of things that allure you to commit crime and iniquity, man. And what did he do? He hid it. You can't hide anything from the Lord. Let me get this quick precept. The Lord's eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. This is the mighty book, right, of Zephaniah, chapter 1 and verse 12. And it shall come to pass at that time that I will search Jerusalem with candles So the Lord said, look, when he come to search out men, he's going to do it with candles. Meaning this place is dark down here. You can't see a lot of crime, iniquity. You know, the lights are physically on earth, but it's a dark place. How dark and wicked this is, the Lord got to come down. He's going to search everything with a candle on a deeper level. And everything that's in the dark is going to come to light. Every evil thought and desire and spirit and lust and damn thing that's been iniquity in your spirit, been dwelling up, you've been mustering, the Lord's going to find it out. It says that I will search Jerusalem with candles and punish the men that are settled on their leads, that say in their heart, the Lord will not do good, neither will he do evil. And a lot of men don't think judgment is going to come. The Lord is slack. The Lord's forgetful. Maybe it's not that serious. Maybe I'm blending in with the trees and the forest. And you start to forget and start to not fear the Most High like you should when the Most High is searching. And the Lord will let you add sin upon sin so that he can destroy you swift with a major judgment. Every judgment isn't going to be you popped your thumb or your ankle just roll real fast or you lose your job. And sometimes the Lord will kill you, man. The Lord will take your spirit from you. Don't think that just because it didn't add up yet that it isn't a greater condemnation for you right waiting for you. Jumping down to verse 25 in Joshua 7. And Joshua said, why hast thou troubled us? And the Lord shall trouble thee this day. So taking heed to iniquity can overthrow your whole household, man. Read 1 Kings, the 14th chapter. This whole household got overthrown. It says, and all Israel stoned them with stones and burned them with fire after they had stoned them with stones. And getting stoned with stones is a brutal death, man. I mean, they wasn't throwing pebbles. They were throwing big rocks. And these rocks were sharp. And they were heavy. And they would throw it and they would bust your skull, man. They would break your bones. They would destroy you with internal bleeding. And they would throw it. And it wasn't throwing it like they were sad to throw it because guess what? If the Lord gave the charge, those men are going to be zealous to fulfill the hand of the Lord, man. Not only that, if they don't kill that, life could go for life. Like when you read 1 Kings, man. Chapter 21 all the way down, man. Life could go for life by not taking somebody else's life that should be appointed to die. So the Lord had this man to be stoned half to death and killed, and everybody burned up all of the things he stole with fire, and that showed fear in the camp, right? You got it.
And I'm gonna go back into the law dealing with temptation, right? This is Deuteronomy chapter 13 and 1, right? It reads, if there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams and giveth thee a sign or a wonder. You might have a brother, he might be a prophet, right? The Most High might set this guy up. Or you might have a guy that has dreams. He might be a dreamer of dreams. You know, he's dreaming about this water and it turned into a dragon. Then the dragon turned into a beast and the beast got divided to the four winds of heaven. And, you know, then at the end of it, it was you with a bowl of swine's flesh. And it said, eat, my son, eat that thou mayest enter to everlasting life, right? He might have these dreams, man. You keep having these dreams about you. And at the end of it, you always got a bowl of swine's flesh for some reason. Or you always with this woman, right? And you know she married, man. You keep having, you know, this guy keep having dreams about you and this other brother's wife, man. I just keep seeing y'all together. I don't know what it is. I don't know, man. I think this is it, man. I think y'all should, you know, hey, you know, man's goings. So you got these men that are set up as a stumbling block. That's what it's about to say. It reads, and the sign or the wonder come to pass, whereof he spake unto thee, saying, let us go after other gods, which thou hast not known, and let us serve them. So he might try to entice you to sin through a dream, right? Through a revelation, man. And you gotta watch out for that kind of spiritual demonic work too. Brothers having dreams to kind of get you to go off, man. And it might be an actual dream. He might not be making it up. Look, I had a dream, man, that you had your own camp and you was on top of the hill and you had 144 gold-plated chest on, and you had 10,000 men behind you saying, Kwam Yasha, Kwam Yasha, Kwam Yasha, Kwam Yasha. And you had two angels, one on the right, one on the hand, and you was cutting all of these Edomites up, but you wasn't in WFI though. Right? You had your own camp. and they was called the elect of Israel, right? And y'all had all black on, and then you had these things on, but I couldn't describe it. And the brother going there, man, and you like, wow, that sounds amazing. Then you had your wife, the woman, you know how the women be there, and you had the wives sitting there. You had 3 wives, man, and they was just sitting there, and they were submissive, and so you have these guys in the ancient world with these dreams and these visions to try to entice you, right? It reads, "Thou shalt not hearken unto the words of that prophet, or that dreamer of dreams, for the Lord your God proveth you." Let me read that again. "For the Lord your God proveth you to know whether ye love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul." So the Most High is going to prove you, man. He's going to give that person dreams and visions to entice you, to really see if you're going to really serve the Most High, or you're going to give heed to these dreams, to smooth words from your woman, man. Right? Yeah, baby, I think you're really mighty. You're mightier than all of those other guys. Why do you have to really listen to him? You're so strong, and you're also and you're extra. I watched your video, and you are just amazing. You know, you got guys, they really look up to you. You can really start your own thing. I mean, just make your own group chat, but just tell the brothers you're just thinking about starting your own thing. Don't really say nothing. I keep having these dreams about you being so mighty, right? And zealous. A brother might give heed to that, man. Yeah, baby. Yeah. I mean, I am mighty. All right, I am. I do be bringing it out. It was a good video. I did see, on the comment board, they did say, he's bringing it out, right? Hey, but guess what? That's a demon hopping on your woman. You got to check your woman, man. Or whoever that demon hop on. Look, Satan, I see you. And some brothers, you got to call it, what they say, call a spade, man. Why would you call your woman Satan? Or that's not right. You're supposed to say, how would y'all call Peter Satan? I want a brother, if I got Satan on me, brother better say, look, Satan. Right? It'd be too much. Look, I don't really know. No, Satan, look. And you got to call Satan out, man. Satan can hop on anybody. Why would y'all call Satan out on Peter, man? He said, "Get thee behind me, Satan. Thou art an offense unto me. For thou savorest not the things that be of God, but those that be of men," paraphrasing. So Satan can hop on your right hand, man. "Be it far from thee, Lord. This shall not be unto thee." Here you got to do the work, and Satan hopping on, and you got to call him out, man. That's another reason why brothers and sisters be falling into temptation, because you don't call Satan to his face, man. You sugarcoating it. You're beating around the bush all the damn time. You're being Mr. Nice Guy, right? You don't want to ruffle any feathers. Call Satan, man, and you'll find yourself doing a lot better in this truth, right? Let me read that one more time, verse 3. I mean, this whole chapter is good. They're going to your brother, your son, your mother, your friend, right? It's going to all of them, huh? Hold on, I'm gonna just jump down to verse 6. If thy brother, this Deuteronomy 13:6. If thy brother, the son of thy mother, or thy son, or thy daughter, it could be your daughter, right? Or the wife of thy bosom. It could be your 2-year-old son. Daddy, mommy, come on, can you? Right? Crying and fussing. I want pancakes. I want pancakes. Right? Well, it's the Sabbath. It's the Sabbath. I want pancakes. I want pancakes. Right? Now you're sitting up there. Next thing you know, you got the damn pancake. I just made one for the baby. Right? Then the baby falls asleep and you can't even give him the damn pancakes, man. Right? And then you got to throw them away and you sin against the Lord, man. So your son or your daughter can make you go off, man. Try to entice you. Right? Read on. Or the wife of thy bosom, or thy friend, which is as thine own soul, entice thee secretly, saying, Let us go and serve other gods, which thou hast not known, thou nor thy fathers. So the Most High said, you got read what the Most High said do to that person. I'm not going to read the rest of that. You read what the Most High said do to that individual. So you got to be aware of these temptations that come through dreams. A dream can hop on you, man. Satan can hop on you and say, hey, look, brother, you was off in the world making big money. And next thing you know, you leaving this truth. So you got to watch out for dreams. You got to watch out for spirits hopping on people and smooth words and your daughters and your sons. And Satan, he's coming through manifold people, man. You gotta be aware of this thing. You got it, King.
Con. And this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 13, and verse number 6. It says, if thy brother, the son of thy mother, or thy son, or thy daughter, or the wife of thy bosom, or thy friend, which is of thine own soul, entice thee secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods. You have your best friend, man. Somebody that's literally knit with you. Y'all do everything together. Read, break down, whatever the case may be. Man, known that brother ever since you were 7 years old, man. It don't really matter. But if they come to you secretly saying, let us go and serve other gods, which thou hast not known, nor thy fathers, namely of the gods of the people, which are round about you. And they may come whispering it to you, man. Because in the ancient world, they may just murmur this and what about that? Like the brother going into it, that's making me think of this precept. There's a lot of people that will murmur things, they'll whisper, they'll bring it to you, right? It don't matter who it is. Hey, the Lord said it could be your mother, it could be your father, it could be your daughter, even your wife, and it could be the brother that's knit as the own soul as you. Namely of the gods of the people which are round about you, nigh unto thee, or far off from thee, from the one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. Thou shalt not consent unto them, nor hearken unto them, neither shall thine eye pity him, neither shalt thou spare, neither shalt thou conceal him, but thou shalt surely kill him. Huh? So the Lord is no respecter of persons. Whatever the case may be, or whatever that's going on, you got to condemn that brother, man. And in the ancient world, you would stone him. So how much less just saying, brother, you got Satan on you, walking away. Get that evil spirit off you, man. Right? Get thee behind me, Satan, thou art an offense to me. So you got to move in the spirit of the Most High and not be scared to tell a brother it is what it is. You got it.
Con, and I want to get this other quick account. This 2 Kings chapter 1 and verse 2. And Ahaziah fell down through a lattice in his upper chamber that was in Samaria and was sick. And he sent messengers and said unto them, go inquire of Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron, whether I shall recover of this disease. So a lot of brothers dealing with temptation too, when they're dealing with sicknesses or people, they have infirmities, they don't go to the Most High first. They allow that. Sometimes seeing somebody sick or you having an infirmity in the health, it could be mental, it could be, an ache, it could be a pain. It's easy to want to go to the so-called white man or you want to be quick and make that your first priority. But you could be tempted, man. The Most High may want to see, are you going to seek help? Or are you going to seek Esau first? Right? Are you going to go on a fast? Or are you going to go make a doctor's visit, man? What are you going to do in your temptation? Right? And it don't even have to be it could be any situation brought to a lower state, man. Anytime you're brought to a lower state, what is your first plan of action? Because the Most High can bring you to a lower state to tempt you to see how you're going to react, how you're going to respond, how you're going to deal with adversity, man. Like we always bring out tryouts. Coaches intentionally make tryouts difficult. They're designed to not be easy, man. And when people's back is against the wall, they fold. I used to play sports back in the day. Guys would give up, man. You gotta run around the field. You might see a guy for the first 2 days of practice. You won't see him the third day. You just won't see him. Oh, football wasn't my thing. I hoop. I don't really do that. Right? Then you hoop and it's basketball season. A guy, he doing the damn suicides. You might see him the first day of practice, man. Because he was talking a good game, and I'm gonna average 20. I'm gonna do this. I'll do this. Give me the ball. Hey, whatever. When it's time for practice, this guy, he can't last, man. You know, the Most High will, and the coach, he'll design practice and extend it 30 minutes longer to see who is supposed to, endure that. And the Most High will bring you to a lower state. He brought Ahaziah to a lower state. Now, Ahaziah, as the king, he was supposed to seek Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua, but he was quick to seek the God of Ekron. And you got to ask yourself, are you quick to seek other things outside the Most High when you're brought to a lower state? Are you quick to resort to flesh and blood? Are you quick to go to these other nations? Are you quick to pick up that phone? Or are you quick to call upon Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua? And that could be another temptation that brother's dealing with, man. And your immediately lower state, are you going to call upon Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua, or are you going to trust in flesh and blood? And what happens when this guy trusted in flesh? Not only did he trust in flesh and blood, he trusted in these other gods. Right? Now, it's not a sin to go to the doctor. It's not wicked, right? You do it in wisdom, you understand? But nevertheless, you have to be aware of the spirit that's there, man. Right? So let's read on. 2 Kings chapter 1 and verse 3. But the angel of the Lord said to Elijah the Tishbite, arise, go up to meet the messengers of the king of Samaria, and say unto him, is it not because there is not a God in Israel, that ye go to inquire of Baal-zebub, the God of Ekron? So why are you going after these other gods and not coming to me in your lower state? Why are you reaching out to a therapist? Why are you seeking your pharmacist? Why are you going to Esau? Why are you doing this? Is it not because there's a God in Israel? Don't you know I'm Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua? But there's no God left, that you go after these other idols that you set up, and you fell in your temptation if you do that. So what happened to this guy? Verse 4. Now therefore, thus saith the Lord, thou shalt not come down from that bed on which thou art going up, but shall surely die. And Elijah departed. So this guy died, man. Right? It didn't say he ate pork. It didn't say he committed adultery. It didn't say, hey, this guy went off, man, because he didn't trust in Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua when he was immediately brought to a lower state. So when you're brought down to that lower state, let me get this real quick in Sirach chapter 2. Right? This Ecclesiasticus chapter 2 and verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. So you got to prepare mentally for temptation. Every day you got to wake up, you have to tell yourself, today's the day I'm going to be tempted. I'm willing and able through the grace and power of Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua and through faith that I can overcome. If you don't remind yourself that you're going to be tempted, you're going to fall when that temptation comes your way, man. Every day, even when you come into this truth, you have to prepare your soul for temptation. Right? People prepare their clothes, for work tomorrow. Right? They might prepare their schedule for the week, but you didn't prepare your soul for temptation. That's why you're doing God knows what on the internet at 2 a.m, man. That's why you're freaking off with this man's wife, because you didn't prepare your soul for temptation. But you made sure you had gas in your car, your clothes was ironed, you had your lunch ready, you had some money in your pocket, you put some tents on your car and you got the new outfit, but you didn't prepare your soul for temptation. Right? It reads, set thy heart aright and constantly endure and make not haste in time of trouble. Meaning, don't be quick to flee. Like Ahaziah. Don't be quick to flee the face of the Most High. Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. It's like in verse 4. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. So whatever is brought upon you, it can be financial problems, it can be marital problems, it could be health problems, it can be anything. Whatever's brought upon you, take cheerfully. And it's, you can say, well, how do you take something cheerfully? How do I be cheerful with the Most High has given me? How can I actually rejoice and glory in tribulation, like the scriptures say, man? How in the midst of temptation, when I lost my job, how can I take that cheerfully? Well, you take that cheerfully because you believe in the Most High. You have faith and you understand that this is temptation. That's how you take it cheerfully. Say, oh, this is temptation. This is the Most High trying me. You won't take it cheerfully if you don't analyze it that way. But if you have that mind and say, this is temptation coming to me to get me out of the spirit. Right, let me read that one more time. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. So you will be changed to a lower state. Everything ain't going to be, oh, Kwam Yashala, and you're feeling good and you're healthy and I'm feeling mighty in the spirit. Man, no, some days you will be in a lower state. But are you going to be patient when that lower state comes? When that lower state is manifesting to you, how are you going to respond? How are you going to react? It's easy to talk about it, but when you're dealing with it and that hand is dealt to you, are you going to fold? Or are you going to recall what Yahweh Ba'ashmi Shai has written and train your spirit to trust in the Most High through faith? And when that lower state comes, you endure it. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in a furnace of adversity. And you want to be an acceptable man. Two types of men: unacceptable men and acceptable men. Those are only two types of men on the earth, man. And the acceptable man, he's going to go through that furnace and come out gold. The unacceptable man, he's going to fall back into darkness when temptation comes his way. You got it, King.
Khan. And this is the book of Acts chapter 5 and verse number 40. It says, and to him they agreed, and when they called the apostles and beaten them, they commanded that they should not speak in the name of Yahushua and let them go. And they departed from the presence of the council rejoicing. So when they was catching hell, getting beat, whooped, slapped, grabbed, thrushed, ravished, choked, whatever the case may be, of them catching hell physically, man, they rejoiced in that, man. And you got to look at it like that. This isn't me catching hell and there's no greater glory in the end of it. Everything that you do, it's a trial, it's a tribulation, and you're climbing the hill. You're one step closer to getting the kingdom of heaven. You're one step closer approving yourself before the Most High. You're one step closer cleaning your garment. You're one step closer growing stronger in the spirit. You're growing every day. Nobody right now was how they are the first day in the truth. You was feeble the first day in the truth. You could have fell out. You don't know what's going on. You're weak. You're easily offended. You're easily going off. Look how much you've grown in the spirit. But look how the Lord compares us, you understand, to taking root. And as you take root and we grow in the Lord's garden, evidently every day you're going to be stronger. Your roots are going to be more fast down. You're going to continue to grow more. Every day that you endure tribulation, not only are you growing stronger in the spirit, but you're approving yourself, man. You're being perfect. You're growing into the stature of Yahushua, like the scripture said, into the full fulfillment of it. It says, rejoicing that they were counted worthy to suffer shame for his name. So that's a worthy thing in their eyes. Look, we got beat for the Lord, man. Look, we got jumped for the Lord. We suffered hell for the Lord. It says, and daily in the temple and in every house, they cease not to teach and preach Yahushua. Meaning when they suffered that temptation, it wasn't scared to go back to it. It wasn't scared to face it again. Because daily in the temple, they was doing whatever they had to do to magnify the name of the Lord. So no matter if this brings you death, if your family loses, you're going to lose a lot in this thing, man. This truth is not for the gain of this world. It's the gain of the Most High. Like Paul said, man, I count all things but dung, that I may win Yahushua, paraphrase. But you got it if you had something else.
Con. This real quick. This Hebrews chapter 2. Two quick precepts. Right. This is a beautiful chapter right here. Hebrews is a beautiful book, man. Right. This is Hebrews chapter 2. And I'll start at verse. Let's see. Let's start at 15. Hebrews chapter 2 and 15. And deliver them who through fear of death were all their lifetime subject to bondage. For verily he, meaning Yahushua, for verily he took not on him the nature of angels, but he took on him the seed of Abraham. Wherefore in all things it behooved him to be made like unto his brethren, that he might be a merciful and faithful high priest in things pertaining to the Most High, to make reconciliation for the sins of the people. For in that he himself hath suffered being tempted, he is able to succor them that are tempted. So what does it mean in verse 18 when it says, for in that he himself hath suffered being tempted? Yahushua was tempted. We brought out plenty of accounts, right? It's not just, oh yeah, I know, Yahushua in the wilderness, 40 days, 40 nights. That's not the only account. Read the Gospels again. Read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John again. And look how many times that you can barely number Satan hopped on people, hopped on the Pharisees, hopped on false brethren, hopped on the apostles, hopped on when he was on the cross, man. Right? If thou be the Son of God, come off that cross. That's Satan hopping on him, man. To his last breath, he was fighting Satan. From the time he was born in Herod, coming to try to murder him and kill him to his last breath on the cross, man. He had Satan coming his way. Right? But it says, for in that he himself hath suffered being tempted, he is able to succor them that are tempted. What does succor mean? To help, provide assistance to, give aid to uplift. So Yahushua was tempted, but yet without sin. He walked the flesh like you and I. You understand? Although he had the spirit without measure, and many and 144,000 other things that we don't have. Nevertheless, Yahushua was tempted and yet without sin. And when we're being tempted, we have help, huh? It says Yahushua is able to succor them that are being tempted. So if you're going through temptation, well, I mean, who else are you going to go rather than the man that was tempted more than any one of us, man? And still was without sin. That's why we always say when you're dealing with these temptations, you go to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, man. And the Lord actually had angels that were strengthening Yahushua after his temptation. It says the angels came down and ministered unto him, man. Right? And you may be praying to the Most High, you may not see it, but angels are strengthening you to help you overcome that temptation, lifting you up to make you make that sound judgment, to increase your faith. My angels came down and ministered unto him as he endured the temptation to heal his spirit, man. Right? And we have these things at our disposal. And our temptation is not, you remember, we're Israelites, man. What is Israel? He is a prince of God. Yasha Allah, he prince God. For as a prince hast thou power with God and with men and has prevailed. Tap into the power you have with the Most High. You're not just an Israelite because the Edomites are going into captivity, or because you could dribble the basketball and jump high, we're the fastest, strongest. No, you're an Israelite because you have power with the Most High. You wrestled an angel and overcame that angel. That's why you're an Israelite too, because you have power with the Most High. You can overcome Satan, man. You have power to cast out these demons. That's in Luke the 16th chapter. Yahushua gave you power over Satan, man. It's not like Satan is some big giant coming from the hillside that just destroys all of the town people, man. And no Israelite could do anything about it. We just put our head down and get slapped around by Satan, man. You got to fight back in temptation too. And rebuke these demons, man, by calling upon the name of the Most High. And use the name of Yahweh Bashnerbashah to rebuke that demon, man. And use these scriptures, because that's what Yahushua did. When he got tempted, he was all in Deuteronomy, all in the law. It is written. The Lord said this. It is written here. So Satan coming your way, go through these scriptures, man. And don't say it, don't whisper it. Well, the Lord said that thou shalt keep the Sabbath. No, man. You call out Satan, you look him in his eye, you call the scripture out, and you use it as a weapon, and you cut him, man. And Satan is out of there. Right? Just stop just putting your thumb in your mouth and sitting on your other hand, man. Looking around, just wait for something to happen. Right? You gotta attack Satan, man. You better run up on Satan, man, when he coming at you. Right? And start shaking a hand and getting on him, man. And reading these scriptures out loud. Otherwise, if you don't have that spirit of boldness, you're going to be overthrown. You have to be bold because Satan is bold. Satan is bold, man. For him to hop on your own mother, that's bold, man. He'll hop on your wife. He all up in your household, man. Hopping all up on your woman, man. He's bold. So you got to be bold, man. You got it, King.
Con, it's the book of Galatians, chapter 5 and verse 16. I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. So just think about what you walking in. You walking in the Most High? Are you walking in the spirit, or are you walking in the flesh, man? You got to really identify what spirit you in. That's examination, man. That's diligence going into it. Okay, I need to work on this. I need to work on that. Fully understand what you battling and what's a snaring to you, and delete it, man. Cast it away. Fast it off. Be strong. Stop fasting with no motive. You don't know what's going on. You're just fasting just for the sake of your Wednesday fast, or your Tuesday fast, or your Monday fast. Brother, have this thing jot down. And when you write down your prayers, it helps things to be more in order. You're not mumbling when you're praying. You're not all over the place. And you're more direct and serious. Because if you come into a prayer, sometimes and you may start daydreaming. Satan may get to your mind, scramble away your thoughts. You're thinking about something, getting overthrown. Hey, brother, take your time, prepare what to say, walk in the spirit. You have to come up with a regimen of what works for you. Stop walking every day just not knowing what's going on and just being overthrown through the brush of the air. It says, for the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. Right? So it's a constant battle going to happen from the time that you come into this truth, from the time you give up the ghost or the Lord comes back. If you're not ready to fight every day, then you're going to fall back in the world. Right? I mean, I hate to tell you, but I mean, it is what it is. You're going to fall back in the world. You're tired of fighting every day, temptations every day, plagues every day, then you're going to fall back in the world. Because the Lord, it has an army. You're a soldier. Soldiers fight. Soldiers don't relax. Soldiers don't kick up and watch TV. They don't go on vacations and just enjoy the world and go on a world tour, man, when this place is going down. Soldiers are always armed, always diligent, always practicing their moves, always fighting, and always striving to win the battle. And that's the type of spirit you got to be in. Understanding your flesh is warring against the spirit. And if you don't war properly, your flesh is going to overtake. You understand? And it's going to drown out what you seemingly should be focusing on, man. Not that the spirit gets overtaken, but you don't identify and love the spirit. You love more the flesh. So the Lord's going to give you over to whatever you lusting over. That's when you read Wisdom of Solomon, the first chapter. Because the Holy Spirit is going to flee the sea. It's not going to dwell together with a lustful, wicked body. It says, for the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. Check that out. So you got to understand this is a constant battle every day in the spirit, and to stay strong. And praying, fasting, reading, counsel, all has to be implemented. But above all, you got to focus on Ephesians, the 6th chapter, man. Verse 11 all the way down. Putting on all of that armor so you can be able to stand the wiles of the devil. Right, you got it, King.
And I want to get this real quick just because I spoke of it, right? But I just want to read it, right? This St. Luke, right? Chapter 16. Well, first let me get Matthew. Right? Let me get, before I get that, I'm going to get this in Matthew because I mentioned this verse. This Matthew chapter 4 and 3. And when the tempter came to him, he said, if thou be the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread. And like I always say, man, that's not going to work on us. Now you can say, well, it might work on me. Well, it's not, because you can't turn stones into bread, and Satan knows that, right? So how Satan tempted Yahushua is not the same way he's going to tempt me or tempt you. I may get tempted, I don't know, through my so-called job. You might get tempted through your woman. The next man might get tempted through, infirmities or whatever. Every brother's going to go through, that's why it says diverse temptations. It's not just one big temptation, man. It's just some big woman walking around Israel, man, just tempting all of the men of the Lord. And every brother got to kind of get that. No, man, it's diverse temptations, right? Diverse ways to affect your life in this truth. Right? Now, what did Yahushua do? But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of the Most High. And that's why it's important too to study, right? Because Yahweh Shai didn't have a Bible in front of him. I mean, he is the word of the Most High. He didn't need one. But you may not always have a Bible to open up. You got to have this word in your heart, like it tell you in Psalms 119. Thy word have I laid up in my heart that I might not sin against you, or against thee, rather. So you got to have these precepts in your mind like weapons, like an armory. When you open up an armory, you got battle axes, double-edged swords, reverse blade swords, daggers. You have bucklers, you have shields, you have all types of, you have knives, you have darts, you have all types of stuff, man. Razors. And you have to, your mind has to be like that for precepts, because for every different way Satan tempts you, you have to have a precept at your disposal to be able to cut that and rebuke that at any given second, right? And that's how Satan was able to be overthrown by Yahweh Shai, not through physical strength and the might, but through the knowledge of the word of the Most High. So when you're studying, you're essentially building up your armory and collecting weapons of warfare to use at your disposal to protect your people and to deliver yourself from these snares and traps that are set up against you, man. So you have to have, and he was in all in, that's from Deuteronomy 8. Then when you read this, the rest of this, he stayed in the same chapter. Then he went to Deuteronomy, the 6th chapter, about not tempting the Most High. So you got to have those at your disposal. If you don't have those precepts in your mind at your disposal, you're going to get overthrown. You're going to get overthrown, right? So you got to have those. A woman trying to convince you to commit adultery. Hold on, Sirach 9 and 8 ain't sitting out at all with another man's wife, right? Gazing at another man's beauty, another woman's beauty, right? Or another's beauty. You have to think of those precepts. You may not call the book, chapter, and verse, but you can recall that account. Hold on, come not near her bed, right? Give not thy soul unto harlots. Leviticus 20 and 10. All right, thou shalt not commit adultery, right? The adulterer and the adulteress. You got to have these precepts in your mind. Like I brought out earlier, I mean, you can't just have a woman coming to you trying to commit adultery with you, and all you're thinking of is Leviticus 11 and 7. That's all you got. And the swine. Right? Though it divide the hoof, right? Cloven footed, yet it cheweth not the cud. It is unclean unto you. Right? Well, brother, like we brought her earlier, she's unbuttoning your shirt. Right? And all you're thinking of their flesh shall you not eat, and their carcass shall you not touch. They are unclean unto you. Well, brother, it's too late now, because it's about to be game over. You gotta have these different precepts, not just and the swine, at your arsenal, man. That's another reason another way to help brothers kind of deal with this temptation. Study and go into these precepts and keep them at your arsenal and use his word, man. That's this two-edged sword. You got it, King.
This is the book of James, chapter 1 and verse 12. It says, blessed is the man that endureth temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord hath promised to them that love him. Right? And we got to go over these precepts. Like the brother talking about, man, whether you got to do flashcards, whether you go over your highlights, whatever the case may be, however you study, hey, brother, you got to continue to study over and over and over. Because when you endure that temptation, you got a crown waiting for you, man. Let me get this quick precept. It's the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8 and verse. I'm going to start at, this whole thing is fire. Right? I'm going to start at 8 and I'm going to start at 8. If a man desire much experience, she knoweth things of old and conjectureth aright what is to come. She knoweth the subtile of speeches and can expound dark sentences. For she seeth signs and wonders and the events of seasons and times. Meaning wisdom will be there right for you when you need it, man. She know the in-depth breakdowns, the subtle speeches, the dark sentences, the events, the precepts, right? The counsel. Wisdom is going to be there for you right when you need it, man. That's why you got to have these precepts on deck. You don't have no precepts on deck, your mind's going to be carnal. It's going to be all over the place. I mean, everywhere you look, you should think of a precept. When I'm throughout my day, I'll look at the clock and I'll be like, all right, well, it's 5:13, and I'll think of a precept, whatever the case may be. I'll think of a precept. I'm looking at everything. I'm thinking of a precept. Or I'll go through my precepts in my head. right? Genesis 1:1, Genesis 1:5, Genesis 1:7, Genesis 1:14, Genesis 1:26. And I'll just go through that. I'll pick a book and I'll try to read through my memorization of all my highlights of what I know, and I'll go through James. And then I'll go through all of these precepts. So, I mean, stop making excuses like you got to have some in-depth damn music playing, the incense lit. You open up your scriptures, your wife bring you your plate, it's quiet in the house. You're not going to have that luxury all the time, huh? If you want to study, you'll study. Sometimes I just play the Bible app on Proverbs, whatever the case may be. It'll be Proverbs, the 6th chapter. I'll be like, all right, that's verse 4. Minding my business, washing the dishes in the shower. All right, that's verse 13. All right, that's verse 27. And then I'll hear something I like, and I'll be like, oh, dang, I ain't know that. When I add that to the highlight, next time I hear it, most high willing, I remember it. So you got to dive in. You can listen to scriptures on the way to work. You got to stay motivated and ravished with the words of the Most High constantly. There's no excuses to slack and have a day off. You're not going to have the luxury to do things the way you want to do them all the time, huh? But make sure that you're eating and make sure that you find out what you need to find out with these scriptures. Because when that temptation meets you and you don't have the weapons that you need to, you wasn't never a true warrior in the first place. You wasn't never a true soldier. So let me get this quick precept real fast. I don't know if you got something after this, but I want to get this the classic. Right, this is the mighty book, right, of 2 Timothy, chapter 2 and verse number 3. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua. So endure, meaning slices, daggers, and all hell is going to be thrown at you with that shield, and you got to endure. No man that warreth entangle himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier. So don't entangle yourself with women, drugs, philosophies, emotions, right? All type of spirits that entangle who you really are. So if you're entangled up and you're fighting, you're not going to be able to move. You're not going to be able to fight. You're going to be entangled and wrapped around and choked. But if you're free from all of the spirits, you're going to be able to clearly see and defend yourself through the spirit. You got it.
That's right. That's right. That's right, man. And this Revelation chapter 22 and 12. Right. And real quick, you'll also deal with temptations if you're hanging around the world, these worldly people, man. Right. You was talking to a brother at camp, the mighty brother Jason told the brother, hey, look, if you're around brothers, man, you'll fare well. Right. You'll fare well because you're more likely not to deal with these temptations. And if you are, you have brothers at your disposal to help you overcome that temptation. But if you isolate yourself all the time, you know, and you want to surround yourself with people of the world and you wonder why you're always being tempted, it's because you're hanging around all of these demons, right? And that's another reason why you maybe get all twisted up and overthrown due to the company that you keep and entertain, what you watch, right? You're watching all these lewd things and now you're having dreams and you're being tempted and everything you think of is sex, and you have to really examine how you walk. The Lord said, ponder the path of your feet, man. Right? There's a lot of attack coming our way from music, the TV, you know, the loved ones, stuff that you entertain, and you want social media things, Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and stuff that pop up on your screen, and you're constantly being attacked. And you know, you want to be able to ponder the path of your feet and look well to your goings. A lot of brothers, they do everything right, but they still are entertaining a cesspool of demons, man. It's still following X God knows what, man, on your social media, man. Right? You're still following his brother's wife, man. Right? You're still picking up the phone every time Rochelle called. And Tamika. Every time Tamika called, you keep answering the phone. Brother, that was 8 years ago, man. That's Satan calling you. That's not Rochelle and Tamika. That's Satan. And you have to have that discernment, man. Damn, Tamika's texting you, haven't seen you in 4 years. I was thinking about you. Did she call you by her little nickname she used to call you? Right now, you're getting all warm inside, man. Hey, you got to let that go, man. Right, this is Revelation chapter 22 and 12. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be. Right, and it takes work to fight these demons, man. If you keep fighting and overcoming these temptations, you'll receive your reward in due time. You got it, King.
Khan, that's right. It's Revelation chapter 3 and verse 2. Be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die, for I have not found thy works perfect before Yahweh. Remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. So just continue to watch, continue to strengthen up your soul through the Spirit of the Most High, and hold fast and repent from all of the things that we deal with daily, to where we can perfect ourselves before the Most High God. Okay.
And with that, we're going to close up, giving, of course, our honor and glory to Yahweh. We'll open up the floor for questions like we always do. Feel free to call in if you have questions, 213-603-9096. And that PIN number is 94809-305. Right, with that, Brother Nakwam, Shalom.
Shalom, shalom, brother. Right.
Kwam Yasha. Shalom.